evening. Yeah, I was about to say good morning. Good evening, beautiful ladies, wonderful gentlemen. Let me adjust this chair. This should go up. No, sure not rising up. Well, I don't know. Hold on, folks. My chair's not working. What's up, beautiful ladies, wonderful gent? Let me try and adjust this chair real quick. I don't know. Chair don't seem right. But thank you for tapping in. Good evening, beautiful ladies, wonderful gentlemen. We got a good one today. I took some notes, and I won't get a copyright strike on this one. I reached out to the source, and the source gave me a thumbs up and said, please, put this information out there. So we got a very good live that we about to do. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the live streams, it states before you focus on science, technology, you know what I'm saying? And want to open a school for African culture. And you are out there telling the people that we need to separate from the system. And all we got to do is open up some science schools and some African culture schools. If you think that's safe for us to be pushing right now, I want you to take time out to reevaluate yourself, because I believe that we might be called on our bluff. So this live stream is a broad live stream. We're going to get into some good information too. I don't know if I should just jump right into it or if I should give it a little time. So let me let some people tap in before I get into my video, because this video is exclusive, and I want to give my persons some. All right, so we already see that we're gonna have problems doing this live. I was just watching some footage for about an hour, and my internet was just giving me good service. Now it's something I'm going live, and my service is down. Well, we're gonna see if we can get this going. I got the phone on the charger. Okay, so the phone's on the chargers. It seems like it's charging, but I don't know. Let's see. You know what I'm saying? The last time I was live streaming, my phone went dead, but I had the phone in the charger. So let's see if this one don't cut off on me. Hopefully it won't. Okay, so yesterday live stream was very interesting. We put together this little format, and it was called Respect, Unity, because it's the school that we need to focus on building. It was respect, unity, love, and empowerment. Is rule, the power to rule, knowing how to rule. So hopefully this live stream, we can really get into it. 5 minutes in and I'm just talking, I'm just beginning. That's crazy. Well, folks, hopefully we can really get into this live stream, because I've noticed that there's some people that watch my live stream and they kind of like piggyback on the topic. So shout out to them, but they are piggybacking in a certain way because they are in contradiction to what I'm talking about. So definitely big shout out to them. That means you're paying attention. So let's go into what things is really real quick, because I'm definitely going to get into some history, and we're going to break down some of black towns that's been destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Because we quick to say we need to separate, we need to separate, we need to separate, we need to do our own thing. Okay, and a lot of these folks out here who's saying that we need to do our own thing, they say that we need to open up some schools as, like, I guess their first resort of separating. And if your first resort of separating from a system is to open up our own schools, and we got like, say we got like 3 schools that's open, now we can separate from the system. I don't think that's strong enough for separation. Okay, I don't think that's strong enough, because once they label you a cult and they decide that they want to destroy you, we in trouble. So instead of us focus on science and African culture, we need to understand something first. And what we need to do is understand respect. Respect, a feeling. Okay, what's respect? Respect is a feeling of deep admiration, okay, for someone or something, elicited by their abilities, okay, their abilities. We have to have respect for one another and our abilities, okay, our qualities, and of course, our achievements. But what happens in the Black community, we focus on our achievements first. What has he achieved? What has she achieved? What they doing? Their achievements, but not their abilities. We have to really respect each other's abilities first and foremost. Foremost. Now, achievements and abilities, they both come with an A, okay? But abilities is AB, achievements is AC. So abilities come before achievements. How about that? Okay. So one's abilities is more important than one's achievements. Well, what you think? One's abilities is more important than one's achievements, because just because they achieve something don't mean that they, still have the abilities. They might achieve something because it was given to them. Things might have been given to them in a certain way, but their abilities are not there. So your abilities is more important than your achievements to me. In most cases, qualities. Okay, is a due regard for the feelings and wishes and rights of traditions of others. Okay, it's the feelings, is due regards for the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others. You know what I'm saying? That's respect. When you respect something, you respect. That's what happens with a lot of the Black communities. We are respected from other communities. Unity, the state of being united or joined as a whole. So we have to have unity. So once we can understand the way to rule, we have to have respect. We have to bring our abilities and have a strong admiration for your abilities. Some people might not be efficient in science, but they still have abilities. They might not be efficient in learning history and learning and really digging deep into African culture, but they still have other abilities. And so we have to respect that, and then we have to have unity amongst us, the state of being united or joined as a whole. We have to join as a whole. Okay, love. Love is very important, because once we can put and apply love in everything that we do, love is an intense feeling of deep affection. Love is an intense feeling of deep affection, a great interest and pleasure in something. When you love something, a great interest. So if we have love amongst each other, a great interest in each other, a great interest in each other's abilities, each other's qualities, we can grow and we can unite, and that's unity. Okay, so we must have respect. In order for us to rule, we have to learn respect. This is the school of ruling. We have to learn unity. We have to learn love. And then we have to put that all together, and then we learn empowerment. Empowerment, authority or power given to someone to do something, becoming stronger or more confident, especially in controlling one's life and claiming one's rights. Okay? So empowerment, authority or power given to someone to do something, becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling one's life and claiming one's rights. Now, I say all this because I got to do a little bit of smashing and bashing, because this is what we still doing. We smashing and bashing those individuals that's out there in the forefront leading the race. And they leading the race down the dark, narrow alley. Not even a path, down the alleyway. And it's about to be an onslaught, because down that alleyway is a gang. It's a gang of people who's going to call you on your bluff. Because if you don't have respect in your community, if you don't have unity in your community, if you don't have love in your community, if you don't know how to have empowerment in your community, you're going to go down this path of thinking that you can separate, and you're going to be confronted by a gang. And this gang is going to put you on your back and put you backwards by like another 150 years, because you did not go out to rule with the right rulership. You was misled, misguided by individuals who just believe in pride. Now, I didn't read anything that said pride. You know what I'm saying? And most of the people that's moving out there, they move in a prideful manner. And pride is bad. Pride is bad when you feel that you're supposed to be better than anybody, and believe that you don't need any and everybody. When you have that certain level of pride, you can actually hurt your movements. So there was people that was way before us that had black pride. They had black love. They even had more unity and respect for one another than we do in this generation. There was others that had they had the ability to grow. They had the ability to move forward. But what they lacked was some things, which was empowerment. They lacked the confidence, especially in controlling one's lives, because others was able to come and just take and conquer whatever they built. And so we're going to get into that. So I have this little video that I'm going to pull up, and we're going to get into this video, and hopefully we can get some service on this video. You know what I'm saying? We're going to close this right here. But thank you for tuning in, folks. Thank you for tapping in, because we're going to get into the school of ruling. How are we going to rule? We're going to rule with respect, unity, love, and empowerment, education, economics. See, you need economics if you're going to try and rule. See, that E is very deep. Yesterday, I asked some folks to help me out with the letter E, and we came up with empowerment. And empowerment comes all the what I just said, education. Empowerment comes economics. So when you look at the word empowerment, it's the authority or power given to someone to do something, becoming stronger and more confident. And so empowerment deals with education, the right education, deals with economics. You know what I'm saying? It deals with a few other things as well. So we're going to tap in and we're going to get into some of this video, because I do want you to understand that it didn't just start with us. It's been around. We've been out there we've been trying to separate within the same lands that we live in. We've been trying separating in the lands in which we live in, but for some reason it hasn't really worked because we lack in some things. What are we lacking? So let's just go into this little research I did, and it popped up. You know what I'm saying? So let's peep this out real quick.
For independence and self-sufficiency, but was thwarted by predatory policies, economic strangulation, and horrific acts of violence, including the only bombing to ever take place. Historically, the United States of America is known as a beacon of hope, liberty, happiness, and independence for all Jews to pursue it, except for one particular group. We are going to take a look at 10 black towns that once staked their claim for independence and self-sufficiency, but was thwarted by predatory policies, economic strangulation, and horrific acts of violence, including the only bombing to ever take place on American soil. Number 10. Wilmington, North Carolina, 1898. January 6, 2021. More than 2,000 angry and violent citizens protested the results of the 2020 presidential election by turning their ire towards the epicenter of the United States, the U.S. Capitol building. That day resulted in the death of 5 people, and 174 police officers were injured, but the insurrection was thwarted.
I take full responsibility. It's not my fault that it came here.
That violent coup wasn't successful, but in 1898, it was. Almost 30 years after the end of the Civil War that put whites and blacks on the front lines against each other, Wilmington, North Carolina stood as an early example of what could happen if they worked together. The Republican Party of Wilmington consisted of black aldermen, elected auditors and financiers, deputy clerks, superintendents. Even Republican President William McKinley named a black man, John C. Dancy, the U.S. Collector of Customs at the Port of Wilmington.
Let's stop right there.
The Democratic
William McKinley. Okay, let's check out this president, William McKinley, okay? Let's just look up William McKinley real quick, okay? William McKinley. He's the president. Which president was he?
Party was the home deputy clerks, superintendents.
William
Even
McKinley.
Republican President William McKinley named a black man.
Republican
Republican
president.
Consisted of black aldermen, elected auditors and financiers, deputy clerks, superintendents. Even Republican President William McKinley named a black man, John C. Dancy, the U.S. Collector of Customs at the Port of Wilmington. During this time, the Democratic
William
Party
McKinley,
was the home of whites.
a Republican in 1898. 1898, 30 years after the Civil War, 1898, named a black man.
Supremacist I.D. McKinley named a black man, John C. Dancy, the
John
U.S.
C.
Collector
Dancy.
of Customs at the
John C. Dancy, okay? John C. Dancy. Okay, he nominated this black man, 1898, a Republican, William McKinley. Let's see who's William McKinley. William McKinley. Let's check him out real quick. Like I said, this is going to be a breakdown because I need us to understand we must respect. For us to rule, we got to respect not just each other, but we have to respect our surroundings. We have to respect others as well. Because if we think that we're going to move through this world being disrespectful people, not only to ourselves, but everyone else, that's going to be a very bad detriment in our health, okay? So we have to have unity. We have to have respect, unity, love, and empowerment. Folks, this live right here is very important because this live stream is going to be a little teaching lesson, okay? We're going to learn a little bit today. So I'm going to Google Henry McKinley, the president, William McKinley, okay? A lot of people don't know of that president, William McKinley. So let me Google William McKinley real quick for us, William McKinley. And President William McKinley. Okay. Here goes some faces of William McKinley. He's a Republican president, and he nominated John C. Dancy. I didn't get the role that he nominated him for. I'm gonna go back to it, but I just want to let you know who's William McKinley. Okay, he was a Republican president. He was the 25th president of the United States, serving from 1897 until his assassination. Whoa, hold up. Okay, until his assassination. William McKinley, an assassinated president. Okay, so let's get that together. Who's William McKinley? William McKinley was a Republican president who nominated. Let me just finish that part. So let me give you that history. Who he nominated? He nominated this black dude.
Port of Wilmington. Clerks, superintendents. Even Republican President William McKinley named a black man, John C. Dancy, the U.S. Collector of Customs at the Port of Wilmington. During this
of the port, hold on, U.S. Customs of the ports? That's big, okay? U.S. Customs of the ports of Wilmington, North Carolina. You know, the ports are very, very important, especially back then because everything was being imported and exported. And so he nominated this black man to be the U.S. Customs of the ports. Now, I need y'all to put this all together because, like I say, I'm going to put some time on this. I'm not going to have like 3-4 hour live on this, but because the way I'm doing this is going to be at least an hour and a half of, getting some real facts because I took some notes. Because, like I say, in order for us to be able to separate and rule for our people, we must have respect, we must have unity, we must have love, and we must understand empowerment. We must know empowerment, which comes with education and economics, empowerment. So let's go back to the year 1898 because we talk about 10 towns that was destroyed, 10 towns that was set backwards, that tried to separate of black folks. So William McKinley, president at the time, 1898. He has John C. Dancy, which was a black guy. He puts him in U.S. Customs. He just makes some U.S. Customs of ports. Let's get to
The Democratic Party was deputy clerks, superintendents, even Republican President William McKinley named a black man, John C. Dancy, the U.S. Collector of Customs at the Port of Wilmington.
Collector.
During this time.
Okay, U.S. Collector of Customs. That's big. Okay, they have him as the U.S. Collectors of Customs of Ports. So as I'm doing a little history on William McKinley now. Let's see he's the 25th president, and what happened to him? What happened to this man? He served from 1897 until his assassination in 1901. So he was assassinated in 1901. A member of the Republican Party. So why is it that Republican presidents always being shot at in assassination attempts? Why the Republican presidents always be having assassination attempts? You had Lincoln, Republican, killed. You have William McKinley, Republican, killed. You have Ronald Reagan, assassination attempt. You had Donald Trump, assassination attempt. And all these presidents were Republicans. I need y'all to stay focused, folks. Stick with me. We digging in the rabbit hole that a lot of Pan-African black folks don't want to dig in because they don't want to give respect to the peers. They don't want to give respect to the environment. They don't want to give respect to every single element of life. And the way that we're going to be able to rule, we must actually respect everything that help us to be put in the rulership position. That makes sense. I hope you pay attention. Remember, he led a realignment that made Republicans largely dominant in the industrial states and nationwide for decades. Okay, a member of the Republican Party, he led a realignment that made Republican largely dominant in the industrial states and nationwide for decades. Okay, let's just read a little bit more about him. I'm gonna read a little bit more about this cat. I'm going to read a little bit more about this president, William McKinley, because I'm doing a breakdown of history of 10 locations in New York, in the country where we had separated, started building our own, and things went to shit. William McKinley, he was born January 1843. He was the 25th president of the United States, serving from 1897 until his assassination. Like I said before, you guys tapped in. For some reason, all these Republican presidents be assassinated, or they are attempt assassinations. Okay, I would like to know how many Democratic presidents had attempted assassinations on them. This is very important for us to know so we can understand real history when it comes to politics. Because so many folks think that the Black Party have to have allegiance to a certain party, but why is it that these Republicans be assassinated, and they be the ones who, like William McKinley, he nominated John C. Dancy, a black man, to be the U.S. Collectors Customs of Ports in Wilmington, North Carolina, the South. A lot of in and out, cotton, all the goods, in and out the ports. Okay, black man was in charge of that by this president. So I need us to understand, for us to really move forward, we have to have respect, unity, love, and know what empowerment is. Empowerment is education and economics. Assassination in 1901. A member of the Republican Party, he led the realignment that made Republicans largely dominant in the industrial states and nationwide for decades. He presided over victory in the Spanish-American War, of 1898, the Spanish-American War, 1898. So I guess he was like a Donald Trump back then, you know what I'm saying? I guess he was like a Donald Trump back then. He gained control of Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines, restored prosperity after a deep depression, rejected the inflation, monetary policy of free silver, keeping the nation on the gold standard, and raised protective tariffs. McKinley was the last president to have served in the American Civil War. He was the only one to begin his service as an enlisted man and ended it as a major. Whatever. After the war, he settled in Canton, Ohio, where he practiced law and married some chick, Miss Saxton. In 1876, McKinley was elected to Congress, where he became the Republican expert on protective tariff, which he believed would bring prosperity. His 1890 McKinley tariff was highly controversial, and together with a Democratic redistricting aimed at gerrymandering him out of office, led to his defeat in the Democratic landslide of 1890. He was elected governor of Ohio in 1891 and 1893, steering a moderate course between capital and labor interests. He secured the Republican nomination for president in 1896 amid a deep economic depression and defeated his rival, William Jennings Bryan, after a front porch campaign. The front porch campaign, that must have been funny. I wish we could just take like a time trip and go back and see how the election was being ran and the campaign and how it went down back then. That must have been amazing. In which he advocated sound money, the gold standards unless altered by international agreement, and promised that high tariffs would restore prosperity. Historians regard McKinley's victory as a realigning election in which the political stalemate of the post-Civil War era gave way to the Republican-dominated fourth party system, beginning with the progressive era. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I just want to give you a little bit of history of this dude, William McKinley, because they say he was assassinated. Now, before I continue on, I'm going to check and see all the assassinated presidents for us real quick. I checked this out one time before, but I want to see their parties. I want to check the parties of all the assassinated presidents. And then I want y'all to do one of those, not Eddie Murphy, but what's his boy that played in, what's the dude that played in Coming to America? Arsenio Hall. I want y'all to do a Okay, so let's go and check out all the presidents that was assassinated and what party were they. Okay, let's check that out real quick. Name all the presidents of the United States that was assassinated and what party they were from.
According to Wikipedia, 4 sitting presidents have been killed. Abraham Lincoln, 1865, by John Wilkes Booth. James A. Garfield, 1881, by Charles J. Guiteau. William McKinley, 1901, by Leon Czolgosz and John F. Kennedy. 1963, by Lee Harvey Oswald.
John F. Kennedy, the Democrat. Okay, so who's in the you had James A. Garfield. So let's check James A. Garfield real quick. What party was James A. Garfield part of? Republican. Okay, so until John F. Kennedy, all Republican presidents was assassinated. Okay, so you had Abraham Lincoln, you had James Garfield, you had William McKinley, then you had John F. Kennedy. You also had the attempt on Ronald Reagan, and then you had another attempt on, they say it was staged, but I'm not going to give it stage no more. They had the attempt on Donald Trump. And if that was not a staged attempt, assassination, that was real, then God must have a place for this man. I want y'all to really just not listen to me, but pay attention to as I'm doing this breakdown. So you had all these Republican presidents that was assassinated. You had John F. Kennedy was the first Democrat, but before him, You had McKinley, you had James Garfield, you had Abraham Lincoln, and they all had. Let's see, James Garfield. Did he deal with black slaves? I mean, how did he deal with black people? Was he a racist? Was James? Garfield also studied law and was ordained as a minister in the Disciples of Church of Disciples of Christ Church, but he soon turned to politics and okay. So I want to know what was James Garfield. I want to know how did he view black people? Was he some kind of racist? Because, like I say, this is deep. Abraham Lincoln freed slaves. William McKinley, he was nominating black men to different departments. I want to know what James Garfield, because it got to be some type of entanglement. He had some type of entanglement with some blacks. Let's just read him, okay? Garfield was elected to Ohio. Come on, baby. This is very important. And I'm stumbling onto this as I'm building. So, like, this might be a 3-hour live. I don't know. Garfield was born into poverty in a log cabin. Okay, so he was a poverty-stricken president in northeastern Ohio. After graduating from Williams College in 1856, he studied law and became an attorney. He was a preacher in Stone Campbell movement and president of the Western Reserve, affiliated with the Disciples. Garfield was elected as a Republican member of the Ohio State Senate. Serving Confederate session. He was Major General in the Union Army during the American Civil War. He was a major general in the Union Army during the American Civil War and fought in the battles of Middle Creek, Shiloh, and Chickamauga. He was elected to Congress in 1862 and represent Ohio's 19th district throughout his congressional service. So he served with the Union in the Civil War and gained a reputation as a skilled orator. He initially agreed with radical Republicans' views on Reconstruction, but later favored a moderate Republican-aligned approach to civil rights. But later favored a moderate Republican-aligned approach to civil rights enforcement for freedmen. Garfield's aptitude for mathematics extended to his own proof of Pythagorean, whatever that is, I don't know what that is, which he published in 1876. At the 1880 Republican National Convention, delegates chose Garfield, who had not sought the White House, as a compromise presidential nominee on the 36th ballot. In 1880 presidential election, he conducted a low-key front porch campaign and narrowly defeated the Democratic nominee Winfield Scott Hancock. Garfield's accomplishments as president included his assertion of presidential authority against senatorial courtesy and executive appointments, a purge in corruption in the post office, and his appointment of Supreme Court justice. He advocated for agricultural technology and educated electorate and civil rights for There you go. I knew I was going to find it. Sometimes you just got to read, black people. You got to read, black people. This kind of make me a little sad because I wasn't reading enough in my life. Let's read again, okay? I was trying to find out what this man did for some Negroes. What did he do to die? Why did this white man die? Okay? So he fought in the Union in the Civil War. And this wasn't even about him. It just when you dig in the rabbit hole, you just start finding stuff out. That's why I said, when it comes to leading, folks, you need right leaders. That's why we're going to build schools in our minds. We don't need these institutions to be all in the builder form. We need to build these institutions in our minds of how to rule. So we're building the rule schools in our minds. It's respect, unity, love, and empowerment, folks. And empowerment comes from education and economics. And I'm going to empower you today because I don't want you to be misled by these demons. Demons will teach you that you don't need to respect nothing. You don't need to have unity with nothing outside of what this right here and this color right here is the only thing, but we don't respect each other. But this is the only thing we supposed to respect, and we can unite. But if we don't have no respect, we can't unite. If we don't have love, we can't unite. And if we're not taught proper empowerment and proper education, folks, we cannot unite to separate. I'm teaching you that you cannot separate under these false leaders that you are listening to, watching, following. Pay attention to this rabbit hole. There's been at least 4 presidents that's been assassinated in this country. 3 of them was Republicans, and all the Republicans have something to do with civil rights for African Americans. Civil rights for African Americans. What did Trump say? He said to the blacks, they coming to take your black jobs. He said with the blacks, he said the blacks don't have nothing to lose. Just roll with me. And what happened to him? Pew, oh shit, they try to kill me. I'm teaching you something. Not because I'm ball riding. I'm not riding the ball. I'm not riding the ball chains of Trump. I'm trying to enlighten you about real life and how God put people in place and position to do things and to work and open doors and to be keys for us people. He advocated for agricultural technology and educated electorate and civil rights for African Americans. He also proposed substantial civil service reforms, which were passed by Congress in 1883 as the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act and signed into law by successors. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of folks can dig deep and say, nah, he was a racist, and find racism on some type of level. I'm pretty sure people probably could if they dug deep. But just on what I'm skimming, Garfield was a member of the intra-party, half-breed factions who used the powers of the presidency to defy the power of stalwart Senator Roscoe Conkling from New York. He did this by appointing Blaine faction leader William H. Robinson to the lucrative post of collector. I don't know who these people are, but maybe we need to check them out, but we ain't going to do them right now. I'm just trying to see anything else I see with the word black. African Americans. Due to his brief tenure in office, historians tend to rank Garfield as a below average president or omit him entirely from rankings, though he has earned praise from anti-corruption and pro-civil rights stance. Okay. Due to his pressed the button by accident. It said due to his brief tenure in office, because he died quick, okay? They killed him. Historians tend to rank Garfield as a below average president or omit him entirely from rankings, though he has earned praise from anti-corruption and pro-civil rights stance, okay? He was a broke one. He came in as a poor, he was just a poor guy. So he was around poor people. I'm just going to assume this because they keep tying him to civil rights, African Americans, and he got killed. So you guys do everything else that you could think of, and you can make him a bad person, or you can make him like, like I say, this is Arsenio Hall time, things that make you say, James Abram Garfield was born the youngest of 5 children on November 19th, 1831 in a log cabin in Orange Township, Ohio. Garfield's ancestors came to Ohio. I really think that, these are people that we need to check out just because. Abel died later that year, and James was raised in poverty and household led by a strong-willed mother. He was raised by his moms. He was her favorite, and the two remained close for the rest of his life. Y'all folks, like I say, read a little bit of history on and other folks, and so we can understand when people are being okay. It keeps talking about poverty. That I was born to poverty, and this chaos of childhood, 17 years passed before I caught any inspiration. As precious 17 years when the boy with a father and some wealth might have become fixed in me. Yo, he didn't have his father. He grew up in poverty. He grew up with his moms, and he still fought for those black folks in the Civil War. Okay? And then he was an advocate for civil rights, and they killed him. So let's just get off of that for a second because I don't want to be too deep into that. But we're going to look at James Garfield. We might need to do a live on all the presidents that was assassinated. And you know what I'm saying? Like I say, folks, for us to rule, for us to say we're going to separate, we need to understand that science, technology, engineering, and math is good, but African culture is good. But when you tell the people that they need to separate from a system, and that's what you got to offer them, and these people giving their lives for us, I think we need to be able to protect us a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? We can't separate just off of technology, science, and African culture. I don't think we can. Okay, so I'm going to make this bill as powerful as I can, folks. You just got to bear with me. I know sometimes who cares? But nah, you might have to care in order for us to be able to separate and move on. You might need these people. We might need a Trump in this modern day time if we want to separate. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. We ain't gonna be able to separate this game by ourselves. Not without no military. See, that's where I'm going. Not without the firepower. Not without the militia. We won't be able to separate unless we have our own protection. And that's why I'm saying for us to think that we're going to be able to separate from a government, separate from a system, that might just say we're gonna call your bluff. Let's just say Trump says, you know what, you're right, I am a racist. I'm gonna call your bluff. Separate. I don't think that's gonna happen, but let's just say he says, you know what, y'all not with me, y'all not with us. Y'all not with me means y'all not with us. And so I'm going to slowly help you guys separate. So no matter what, let's just say that happens right now. What can we do to protect ours? They assassinating presidents. They bombing communities. You don't believe me? Let's get into it now, folks. Now you're ready. So we went over William McKinley. He hired John C. Dancy as United States Collectors Customs of Ports. Okay, this dude was an advocate and he was a fighter for civil rights and African Americans. Okay, you know what I'm saying? These people died for you. Okay, don't think they didn't. They died for you. Damn. Manner of death, massive infections, including pneumonia after being shot. Damn. And all the wars he fought in, American Civil War, the Battle of Middle Creek, Battle of Shiloh, Siege of Tullahoma, whatever these places are, I can't say it. Tullahoma, Campaign Battle of Chickamauga, whatever that is, Chickamauga. So he also was a fighter. Okay, he was a fighter, he was a war vet, and he fought for you and I believe. You know what I'm saying? I believe so. You guys can dig a little deeper if you want. And you can let me know if you don't think that he was for us, but I don't know. But I'm going to get off this dude real quick. But for some reason, I want to check him out more and more. I don't know why. Civil War. After Abraham, okay, let's go to Civil War. Matter of fact, now we're going to check the Civil War. After Abraham Lincoln's election as president, several southern states announced their secession from the Union to form a new government, the Confederate States of America. Garfield read military texts while anxiously awaiting the war effort, which he regarded as a holy crusade against the slave power. In April 1861, the rebels bombarded Fort Sumter, one of the South's last federal outposts beginning the Civil War. Although he had no military training, Garfield knew his place was in the Union Army. And Governor William Dennison's request, Garfield deferred his military ambition to remain in the legislature, where he helped appropriate the funds to raise to equip Ohio's volunteer regiments. When the legislature adjourned, Garfield spent the spring and early summer on a speaking tour of northeastern Ohio, encouraging enlistment in the new regiments. Following a trip to Illinois to purchase muskets, Garfield returned to Ohio and in August 1861 received a commission as a colonel in the 42nd Ohio Infantry Regiment. The 42nd Ohio existed only on paper, so Garfield's first task was to fill its ranks. He did so quickly, recruiting many of his neighbors and former students. The regiment traveled to Camp Chase outside Columbus, Ohio, to complete training. In December, Garfield was ordered to bring the 42nd to Kentucky, where they joined the Army of Ohio under the Brigadier General Don Carlos Buell. Buell's command quickly assigned Garfield to task of driving Confederate forces out of eastern Kentucky, giving him the 18th Brigade for the campaign, which, besides his own 42, included Ohio. The two, like I say, it seems like he fought for something. And then he was shot. So, like I said, that's a person for you guys to take a little note to. Presidents that were shot and killed: Abraham Lincoln, William McKinley, James Garfield, and the Democratic president, John F. Kennedy. Okay, so let's get off of that for a second now, and let's get into what I was going to get into.
The Democratic Party was the home of white supremacist ideals. It was also home of the terrorist organization Ku Klux Klan and the paramilitary group the Red Shirts. As the resentment of black progress among the Democratic balloon, more equity shifted. After losing the election of 1896, the Democratic Party spent the next 2 years with one goal in mind: destroy black affluence. Their weapon of choice, the media. Democrats used local newspapers to run articles of divisiveness and stoke the fear of black dominance. It started by claiming blacks would take economic control by depriving its white counterparts of work, even though blacks were the minority in the workforce by a substantial margin. The claims became even more sinister and salacious. Articles and cartoon depictions began to circulate, insinuating black power meant putting white women in danger. When voting days finally came, to ensure victory, the paramilitary arm of the Democrats were sent to booths to ensure no black people would even get a say who would be in office. The Democrats won by a landslide, claiming every available position up for election. But the mission was not to eliminate blacks in power, it was to eliminate black affluence. The Democrats declared the White Declaration of Independence. We will no longer be ruled or ever ruled again by men of African origin. The declaration aimed to strip black men of all voting rights, replace every prominent position held by a black man with a white man, and strip any other economic foothold African Americans held in the state. The next morning, hundreds of armed white men set fire to the Daily Record, the only black-owned newspaper in Wilmington. Later, armed white men gathered at City Hall and intimidated every remaining Republican official into resigning. All vacated positions were then replaced by newly elected Democrats. By nightfall, 2,000 armed, angry white men gathered to finish the mission. Upwards to 100 black residents were.
So they saying that this was the official first January 6th. Okay, the Democrats was very upset that William McKinley was appointing a lot of blacks in office, and they decided they was going to bring the heat. 2,000 armed individuals came. This was the first January 6th, led by the Democratic Party, because they didn't like the fact that there was too much black power taking place in Wilmington, North Carolina, because of President William McKinley.
While others hid out in the neighboring swamp and cemetery, thousands of African Americans escaped, never to return to Wilmington again. This marked the first and only successful insurrection in America's history. Our next two examinations of black towns take us out west. Number 9.
Haven't been able to take my eyes off my husband's pants.
So this is towns that of black folks that try to take separate and just do it for themselves.
But my husband went hard on me for 2 straight hours after trying a simple secret mixture.
Number 9. Santa Monica, California. The Great Migration of African Americans leaving the South to escape Jim Crow segregation usually talks about them migrating to the East Coast and Midwest, but some escaped to the Golden State, California. The city of Santa Monica is the first African American settlement to be a seaside community. Lured by employment opportunities, beautiful landscapes, and great weather, Southern California in general became a popular destination for those seeking a better life. But the black neighborhoods in Santa Monica helped establish the beach community as we know it today. Between the 1920s and 1970s, African Americans established themselves as mainstays within the city. They taught themselves how to surf, established themselves as entrepreneurs and community leaders, and brought with them jazz music. However, they may have escaped Jim Crow segregation, but they didn't escape overt racism. Today, California is known as a place of liberation, a place where dreams come true and you can be whoever you want to be. But that was not the case for African Americans during the 20th century. As more and more migrants made their way into Santa Monica, elected officials created policies that denied them access to the city's resources. In 1922, Santa Monica created its first zoning ordinance, an adoption that denied building permits to a group of wealthy African Americans looking to establish a bathhouse. They even extended the ordinance to shut down a popular black-owned jazz club. Zoning ordinances coupled with racist real estate covenants kept black people locked into one section of Santa Monica, the Pico Corridor. Outside of Pico, black residents could not operate business, nor rent or own housing. The segregation in Santa Monica even extended to the beach. What was known as the Caucasian Clause prevented the leasing, sale, or occupation of oceanfront properties to African Americans. This clause protected sections of Santa Monica's public beaches from black visitors. The segregation of the beaches only allowed black beachgoers to enjoy a section of the beach known as the Inkwell. The discriminatory housing policies and political crimes against black people crescendoed into the 1950s and 60s with urban development. The Pico neighborhood was split in half with the development of the Interstate 10 freeway. It drove a stake through the heart of the black community, making it an undesirable place to live.
So with these folks, they knocked them out due to zoning. Then they built highways, you know what I'm saying, through their cities. Let's skim through these real fast. Let's skim through this real fast.
The association purchased 20 acres of land with the sole intention of establishing a town for black soldiers where they could control their own destiny. By 1910, Colonel Allensworth had officially established the land as Allensworth. The municipality was perfectly placed between Los Angeles and San Francisco. African Americans started farms devoted to sugar, wheat, barley, and cotton. Allensworth benefited greatly from an adjacent stop of the Santa Fe Railroad. Because of that, many travelers were able to purchase goods and services from the businesses of the town. For several years, Allensworth was a utopian community for African Americans looking to escape the ills of racism and segregation, a place where they could truly control their own destiny. Allensworth became home to California's first African American school district. It also had its own courthouse, hotel, and library. But the utopia was short-lived. In 1914, Colonel Allensworth died. He was struck by a motorcycle while crossing the street. Without the guidance of their leader, Allensworth couldn't withstand the onslaught of what came next. In a profound act of economic punishment, the Santa Fe Railroad Company diverted trains away from Allensworth, building a new stop in a neighboring town. The town then experienced a devastating drought. Originally, a deal had been made with the Pacific Farming Company to build enough wells. The farming company reneged on the deal, and without enough capital and other resources needed to drill their own wells, Allensworth agricultural suffered. By 1920, the utopian dream was another American nightmare for the residents of Allensworth. Our next black town was so famous that they made a movie inspired by it. Nestling at number 7, Rosewood, Florida. 1923. Rosewood, Florida is just 2 hours south of the state's capital, a small town that initially attracted both black and white people. But by the turn of the century, as jobs and resources left, so did its white settlers. By the early 1920s, Rosewood had become a small haven for black people in the Jim Crow South. 2 black families sat at the head of Rosewood, the Goins and the Carriers. The community became so tight-knit that at one point everyone was somehow related to one another. The black residents of Rosewood couldn't vote because of segregation laws, but they still thrived as a community. There were several churches, a sugarcane mill, a school, and they even had their own baseball team, the Rosewood Stars. They even had 2 convenience stores, including John Wright's General Store, which was white-owned. By all accounts, the relationship between the black residents of Rosewood and their neighboring white counterparts was amicable until 1923. It was New Year's Day when everything fell to absolute pieces. Fannie Taylor was a white young married mother who lived just across the street in nearby Sumner. Her husband was away at work when neighbors responded to hearing screams coming from the Taylor home. Fannie was found beaten and assaulted, and her alleged assailant, a black man. The county sheriff assembled a posse to launch an immediate investigation, deputizing as many as 400 volunteers to search for the assailant who allegedly made his way into Rosewood. First, a mob of 150 men arrived at the home of Aaron Carrier. Reports say he was pulled from his home, tied to the back of a car, and dragged to the police station. The next victim was Sam Carter, a local worker at the Turpentine Mill. He was tortured, mutilated, and executed. His body hung as a warning to anyone who could be housing the alleged fugitive. However, the people of Rosewood would not be intimidated. For the next several days, the residents of Rosewood defended their homestead. Led by Sarah and Sylvester Carrier, they exchanged shots with incoming vigilantes who tried to intrude on their property. Others ran for safety, hiding away the children in nearby swamps. As the battle raged on, newspapers reported the event as a race war, encouraging others from all over to bear down on the small town. In the end, the Carriers were overwhelmed. Eyewitnesses claim 150 black people were killed, most of them unarmed. Those white travelers who missed out on the shootout razed what was left of Rosewood by setting fire to every school, church, and place of business, except John Wright's General Store. Have you heard about any of these historical black towns before? Comment below. This next community on our list were the recipients of the only airplane bombing to take place on American soil. At number 6, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 1985. The Liberty Bell is an iconic symbol of independence, and
Yeah, Philadelphia. That's where I'm staying right now. So Philadelphia, they get the, when I first moved out here, for some reason, everybody told me about this bombing that took place in Philadelphia. So here we are talking about building schools, black power. We're going to focus on STEM and technology and engineering and math and science and all black power. But if who's talking about protecting our institutions? Who's talking about protecting our agriculture? Nobody's talking about protecting it. They are all just focusing on how they can profit off of black power and just keep constantly telling you folks that we can separate. Who's organizing the funds? They fighting over funds. Who's organizing the finances? Who's organizing the military, the protection? And that's why I'm telling you, that's why I'm doing this live stream right now. And this is 10 times in history, in American history, where we black folks tried to separate and do our own thing. And for some reason, it didn't have the success that the people thought it could have. So in this day and age that we live in right now, if we're not focused on doing the right things, how are we going to have the success that we think that we're supposed to have? What success do we want right now of separating in this modern day? What do we overall want to see? Because like we live in a system where people's comfortable and not working. People's comfortable, very comfortable at going to the store with their little plastic card and getting some groceries. What system are we designing for us to separate, for us to be able to match what these people are given? If we've been saying for the longest that the new fathers of the household is the government, and they kick the males out the household because they're giving the women the food and the shelter. What system are we putting back to replace that? Well, if it's not building a system of love and where man and woman can come back together, what system do we have in place that's going to make our women who can do good off of the government and collecting child support from you, what's going to make them say, you know what, we want to be part of this system of separation, and we believe in it because we believe in you men.
Is located just 17 minutes east of one of the worst attacks on people seeking their own independence. MOVE was founded in 1972 in Philadelphia by John Africa. Their unique philosophy blended nature laws, anarcho-primitivism, and advocacy for animal rights. Every member of MOVE took on the last name Africa as dedication to their mother continent and adopted a Rastafarian tradition of allowing their hair to dreadlock. The community believed in the rights of all living things, often conducting nonviolent protests against the mistreatment of animals in the form of puppy mills, zoos, and circuses, and the mistreatment of people in the wake of the 3 Mile Island, industrial pollution, and police brutality. The group became known as part Black Power and part Flower Power. However, their opposition to fully participating in the societal norms of city living didn't go over well with neighbors, local politicians, or the Philadelphia Police Department. After a series of complaints from their neighbors, the Philadelphia Police Department obtained a court order to force MOVE to evacuate their current dwellings and surrender all weapons. In August of 1978, the Philadelphia police and members of MOVE engaged in their first deadly altercation. In the end, 1 police officer was gunned down. As a result, 9 members of MOVE were convicted, each sentenced to 100 years apiece. By 1985, the people of MOVE had reestablished themselves in a row home on Osage Avenue. The group continued their hunter-gatherer lifestyle, homeschooling, and composting, much to the dismay of their neighbors. This time, Philly's first black mayor, Wilson Good, gave the order to evict MOVE. Sadly, this time was even more deadly.
Who did that?
Not for the dismay of their neighbors.
Who did
this
that?
time, Philly's first black mayor, Wilson Good, gave the order to evict MOVE. Sadly, this time was even more deadly. Not for the police, though. This time, the people of MOVE were met by the full force of the Philadelphia police. Thousands and thousands of rounds of bullets were fired into the row house. The people of MOVE were overwhelmed as they tried to protect the women and children huddled inside. Then, in an act never seen before or since, the unthinkable happened. A C-4 bomb was dropped from a Philadelphia police helicopter. The bomb completely leveled the home and left 2 blocks worth of devastation. In total, 6 adults and 5 children of MOVE were killed. They were the victims of the only sanctioned bombing on American soil.
Do you know the tongue and 2-finger trick to make your partner squirt? Did you know that this little-known trick among men can make any woman...
Soil. Number 5. Overtown, Miami, Florida. When oil and rail tycoon Henry Flagler needed a place for his black construction workers to live, the city of Miami designated a small district right outside of downtown. This part of Miami became known as Colored Town and later named Overtown. In the separate but equal Jim Crow South, Overtown became a haven for black people. It was home to South Florida's first high school designated for African Americans and home to one of America's first black millionaires, D.A. Dorsey. During the 1940s, Overtown was named the Little Broadway of the South.
So the first D.A. Dorsey, first millionaire, black millionaire in this country, so-called first black millionaire, D.A. Dorsey in Florida, okay? They had their towns called, what is it called? Colored Town, right? It's called Colored Town. And what happened to Colored Town? Let's find out what happened to Colored Town, okay? Let's see what happens to Colored Town. Let me check this out for a second. Let's see what happened to Colored Town, folks.
The Broadway of the South. It became a refuge for black mainstream entertainers who would perform at classic white establishments like the During the 1940s, Overtown was named the Little Broadway of the South. It became a refuge for black mainstream entertainers who would perform at classic white establishments like the Fontainebleau and Eden Grosh, but were not allowed to lodge there. On any given night, you could catch Billie Holiday, Jackie Robinson, Nat King Cole, or Joe Louis strolling through Overtown. However, Overtown would become a victim of economic deprivation. As the city of Miami grew, they built highways and an expressway over the town. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 gave way to other places for African Americans to take their homes, commerce, and businesses. At its peak, Overtown was a thriving hub of roughly 50,000, but by the 1980s, it became economically destitute and home to only 10,000. Our next black town isn't as well known as what replaced it. Number 4, Seneca Village, New York. Central Park, one of the most famous parks in the world, the home of runners, family picnics, and countless famous movie scenes. A must-see for people visiting New York. But did you know Central Park was once the home of a black town? Seneca Village was founded in 1825 by free black Americans. In 1 week, a 25-year-old African-American named Andrew Williams and members of the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church purchased in total 21 lots from the previous owner, a white farmer. After slavery was abolished in New York State, Seneca Village welcomed more immigrants. Later, the Great Famine of Ireland brought in a new marginalized group, the Irish. Despite their cultural differences and social conflicts, the Irish and blacks lived alongside each other in the village. At its peak, Seneca Village was a bustling community of middle-class blacks and working-class Irishmen. 3 churches, 2 schools, 2 cemeteries, and almost 400 people. At the time, it was one of the only places African Americans could buy land and exist free of harassment and discrimination. However, black prosperity would not last long. In 1857, the government of New York State enacted eminent domain, a practice in which private property is seized in order to create land for public use. Seneca Village thus became Central Park. We're getting into our top 3, and believe me, you'll want to smash that subscribe button for more. Now, let's move on to number 3. At number 3, Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., the capital city of America and the most powerful city in the world. But at one point, it was known as the Chocolate City. As the South continued to enact stricter laws and segregation practices, many blacks migrated north as part of the Great Migration in search of better education, job opportunities, and a way to escape legal lynchings. The capital became a popular landing place. In D.C., African Americans thrived, establishing several neighborhoods, a myriad of thriving businesses, and established the first black high school in America, Paul Laurence Dunbar Senior High School. They even had their own baseball team, the Homestead Grays of the Negro League. D.C. established itself as a place where black politicians, entertainers, and activists could all gather. By 1950, with 35% of its residents identifying as black, a white exodus to the suburbs of Northern Virginia and Southern Maryland began. Less than a decade later, Washington, D.C. was declared the first major American city to be majoritively black. For years, the black citizens of D.C. continued to build and expand. Out of it came historical destinations like the U Street District, the mighty Howard University, thriving enclaves, museums, and schools. The black Washingtonians even created their own Grammy Award-winning music genre, go-go. But in the heart of politics, the Chocolate City would be melted down. Decades of policies that impacted black residents included excluding job opportunities, unfair wage practices, and deceitful housing and banking tactics. Years of turmoil and chaos brought on by the war on drugs left many black residents dead and imprisoned, leading to fractured homes and decimated neighborhoods. The final nail in the coffin came with urban renewal plans during the early millennium. It enticed those who fled to the suburbs to come back to the city. Eventually, historically black neighborhoods were overtaken by gentrification, leading to an exodus of black people who had been priced out. In 2020, for the first time in almost 70 years, black residents no longer were the majority. Number 2, Harlem, New York. Nothing epitomized the combination of black affluence and art like Harlem during the early 20th century. Fueled by not only the great migration of blacks from the South, but Harlem welcomed immigrants from the West Indies. This mixture of black cultures created a stew of new fashion trends, music, and art, and eventually became known in the history books as the Harlem Renaissance. Harlem was unique in the sense it didn't hide or steer clear of white America.
So with the Harlem Renaissance, this is when a lot of West Indies started flooding New York, and things started making change. You had poets that came out that was from West Indian background, poets such as Claude McKay. You know what I'm saying? Remember that book, The New Negro? We used to, that was in every black school, The New Negro, the Harlem Renaissance. We had to know that. We had to learn that. You know what I'm saying? We had to know the players of the Harlem Renaissance. It was very important to remember the Harlem Renaissance. And what happened when in Harlem, with Harlem, they gentrified it. They know how to move policies. They know how to do things where they can take away whatever you build, and they just know how to take away with either violence or through policies, through building a bridge, through building a road, a train station to go straight through your town, splitting your town in half. They know how to do things in the way that they're going to get back their land. So you think that you're going to be separating the same land without being ready to protect it is misguiding the folks and just being a fraud, because you talk about we're going to educate, we're going to focus on building schools. We always had schools. Our schools get burnt down. We always had knowledge and education, but we don't have no one to protect it, and that's what we lacking. We need protection. We need protection of our women, protection of our children, protection of our finances, protection of our men, protection of our communities. We must protect our families. We must protect it with infrastructures that's going to be established, that's going to bring security to our people to believe in us. But don't think that we're going to separate from a system and don't offer nothing and don't have nothing to protect us. So let's get into this, because we have one last city in town, and then we can do a breakdown.
Instead, it influenced America and the world. Harlem controlled its own narrative as they housed their own publishing houses, newspapers, and music companies. Their nightclubs, playhouses, and cabarets were solicited by celebrities, socialites, and dignitaries from all over the world. Harlem represented an overt racial pride in what many deemed the new Negro. African Americans like Duke Ellington, Josephine Baker, Zora Neale Hurston, and Langston Hughes finally had a place to proudly produce their own art, music, and literature, and be seen as intellectual. They showcased their ability to rock furs, jewels, dance the night away, and still fight against pervading racism, promote socialist politics, all with a spirit of self-determination. The neighborhood of Ellington, Josephine Baker, Zora Neale Hurston, and Langston Hughes finally had a place to proudly produce their own art, music, and literature, and be seen as intellectual. They showcased their ability to rock furs, jewels, dance the night away, and still fight against pervading racism, promote socialist politics, all with a spirit of self-determination. The neighborhood was also home to black activism. Marcus Garvey lived and launched his Back to Africa movement in Harlem. Later, Harlem became a hub during the civil rights movements and the home of black nationalist groups. Famously, the Nation of Islam's Temple No. 7, which was run by Malcolm X. At its pinnacle, Harlem was a stage. It was its own planet, from the way people dressed to the way they talked. Even with all their influence, the black residents of Harlem didn't own Harlem. Clubs, businesses, and homes were privately owned by landlords who often overcharged their black tenants. Because of predatory practices throughout New York City, Harlem was flooded with black residents who couldn't get housing anywhere else, and slumlords took advantage. Desperate working-class black renters were often charged 200% more than white renters. The same practices that allowed these slumlords to charge more also allowed them to do less, and lots of buildings in Harlem fell into despair. By the end of the civil rights movement, less than half of the housing in Harlem was considered safe. Our next black town has become the standard of black enterprise, and an unfortunate example of the measures people will take to stomp out black excellence. Sitting up at number 1.
So, before we get into number 1, let's talk about Harlem real quick. Like they said, we was in Harlem We was deep in Harlem. Harlem like was its own country, but we didn't own the property. We still was renting, but we was there in flux. We was there in hordes of folks. We had Harlem on smash. When you look at Harlem it's like a small city compared to a lot of these places, and everyone knew of Harlem. Everyone got his style from Harlem. But what they did with Harlem was they starved Harlem out. They overpriced Harlem. See, if we don't have the money to buy our land, buy our buildings, be able to create a plumbing system where we can have water, if we're not willing and we are not being creative enough, there's no separation that we can do, folks. They can call our bluff and they can send us backwards by like 50, 60, 100 years. Just by calling our bluff right now. The way they starved them out in Harlem, they can starve us out right now. If they think that we are a threat. And by you saying that you want to separate, by all means, that becomes a threat. And by all means, if they choose to call you on that and they start starving you out, don't say racism. Because 90% of black folks in America says, we should do this. We should do our own thing. You said it one time in your life. Especially when those people killed, when those cops killed innocent black folks. You always say that. So I'm saying to you at this moment, if you believe in separation, we must get organized to protect. We must get our money right. That's why we need to know how to rule. And ruling comes with respecting each other, unifying with each other, loving each other, and empowering one another. We must empower one another with love and respect and unity. We must love each other with unity and respect and empowerment. We must respect each other with love, unity, and empowerment. But we have to put them all together, and that's the way to rule. But we're not going to be able to separate and rule just off of education alone. Like, remember how they say educated fools? That's all these people are that's leading you, educated fools, and leading you to word things that's going to make you wish that you didn't say these things because you're not prepared for the words. You're not prepared for the thoughts. You're not prepared for the dreams if you're not preparing for them. So let's get into what I mean by preparing. Let's get into the final one, number one. Everybody knows this one. Right?
Greenwood, Oklahoma.
This is a hidden gem that people don't know about. I don't want to live 9 to 5, paycheck to
Black excellence. Sitting up at number one. Greenwood, Oklahoma, 1921. Nothing is more synonymous with black cohesiveness and self-determination than these words. Black Wall Street. At the birth of a new century, many African Americans made their way toward Oklahoma. It was a land grab that attracted many black people with the hopes of building a firewall between them and Jim Crow segregation. A small section of Tulsa, Oklahoma became known as Little Africa and is where the seeds of black industry were planted. Word of this burgeoning black town made its way to Booker T. Washington, who visited in 1905. He was impressed with what he saw. Mr. Washington encouraged them to focus on growth, continue to cooperate among themselves, and encouraged them to expand their enterprise into a 4,000-acre strip. Under the guidance of Booker T. Washington, that 4,000-acre strip became Greenwood Avenue. Greenwood Avenue would be the home of black-owned grocery stores, retail shops, libraries, and even banks. Greenwood Avenue would be known forever as Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street became a bustling district that attracted black doctors, lawyers, and entrepreneurs. Black families who came to Tulsa just looking for an opportunity turned their desperation into wealth. Some bought land and developed on it. Entrepreneurs like J.B. Stratford and O.W. Gurley opened their own hotel, while others opened barbershops and churches. But as we've seen thus far, when black prosperity and independence flourish on one side, resentment and jealousy burns hotter on the other. At its pinnacle, Black Wall Street was home to 2 newspapers, 2 movie theaters, numerous nightclubs and churches, and most of Tulsa's 10,000 black residents lived there.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the top of what they had. They said they had hotels, churches.
Greenwood Avenue would be the home of black-owned grocery stores, retail shops, libraries, and even banks. Greenwood Avenue would...
Banks, retail shops,
be known forever.
libraries.
Black Wall Street became... Greenwood Avenue would be the home of black-owned grocery stores, retail shops, libraries, and even banks. Greenwood Avenue would be known forever as Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street became a bustling district that attracted black doctors, lawyers, and entrepreneurs. Black families who came to Tulsa just looking for...
So before we talk about separating, okay, let's not talk the separation talk right now. Let's walk. Let's be like Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let's be like Greenwood Avenue. Let's build a Greenwood in every city. And honestly, this is what I'm saying. I'm freestyling something right now. I'm freestyling something right now. Reparations. Reparations. We need this administration to look over this blueprint, this plan. We want a Greenwood Avenue in every city. Okay? I don't know if you heard, I don't know if anyone spoke this talk. I don't know if anyone spoke this up ever before, but reparations starts like this for me. This is my reparations proposal to Donald Trump. In honor of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all the victims and the energy and effort that our people put in, we want our reparations in the form of a Greenwood Avenue in every city, every state. Every state has a Greenwood Avenue. Every state and it's a major city, in a major city in every state. Okay, so a major city in every state gets a Greenwood Avenue. And we ain't talking about a little small Greenwood Avenue. We talk about a mega Greenwood Avenue, a mega avenue, mega Greenwood Avenue. And we want to open our own banks, libraries, schools. This is the reparation package. See, we ain't gonna talk the separation talk. We're gonna get something first to build off of, then we can separate from there. But we first gonna show and prove to ourselves that we can make it happen. We can grow it. It's not getting burned down now, folks. It's important for us to put this, it's important for you guys to pay attention with this platform I just did today. And we could package something for this next president in the form of reparations. It's the Greenwood, it's the Tulsa home, it's the Tulsa, Greenwood, it's the Overton, it's the Allensworth. It's in honor of all our cities, not just in honor of all our cities. Let us build our Greenwood back. Our Harlem back. These cities can be tourist cities as well. Okay? We can make these cities tourists. Like I said, we got to know how to play this motherfucking game, folks. Let it be tourist cities, where people can come and experience our communities. So make it a tourist city based on black excellence. If Trump believed he saved the black schools, the UBCUs, HBCUs, let him rebuild our black Wall Streets. Stop fighting. Learn how to work a system. Stop fighting against the system. Know how to work a system. I'm trying to get you, before I die, I hope that you guys can wake up. Before I die, I hope you guys wake up. Oh shit, based on cities built. I forgot what I was saying. Okay, so let's get into this, folks. My whole thing is reparations in the form of Greenwood City. Get this. Okay, I'm giving you a jewel right here. This is reparations right here.
Opportunity turned their desperation into wealth. Some bought land and developed on it. Entrepreneurs like J.B. Stratford and O.W. Gurley opened their own hotel, while others opened barbershops and churches. But as we've seen thus far, when black prosperity and independence flourish on one side, resentment and jealousy burns hotter on the other. At its pinnacle, Black Wall Street was home to 2 newspapers, 2 movie theaters, numerous nightclubs and churches, and most of Tulsa's 10,000 black residents lived there. They established solidarity by electing their own leadership, and most importantly, they funded their own economic growth. On May 30th, 1921, a young black shoeshiner entered an elevator operated by a young white woman. The stories of what actually happened during that moment are conflicting, but what happened as a result is not. Here are the facts. Dick Rowland, a 19-year-old black shoeshiner, walked on an elevator operated by a young...
So you saying that some little 19-year-old shoeshine kid got a whole town of 10,000 people destroyed because of the snow bunny effect? Are we out of our freaking minds? We lost an entire city because of some shoeshine dude and a lust for some snow bunny?
White 17-year-old woman named Sarah Page. Allegedly, someone heard a scream and found Sarah in a distraught state. However, news headlines the next day claimed a black man had sexually assaulted a white woman, and for that charge, that meant imminent death for Dick Rowland. In order to protect him, police placed the young man in protective custody on the top floor of the police station. As rumors of what happened between Dick Rowland and Sarah Page spread, mobs of vengeful white men descended on the police station, demanding the police chief turn over Rowland in order to be taught a lesson. The black residents of Tulsa also got really oppressed, and in response, they...
So you tell me that they had this city in this town, 10,000 residents, and they still didn't have their own police department? Oh my God. Going back to what I'm saying, you can focus on education. You can focus on having your supermarkets. You can focus on open your hotels. You can make your mega city, but you didn't have your own police department. You didn't have no protection in your community. The police department that was in your community was a white police department, meaning that had white families and other things still in your city, your town. And this shoeshine dude do something to this white girl, or don't do something to this white girl, but something happens with him. He gets. Let's finish the story. I'm confused. We didn't have our own police department, huh?
Went to the police station to defend against a potential takeover, and that is when the gunpowder finally ignited. A white man demanded an armed black man hand over his firearm. He refused. A tussle ensued, and one shot rang off, leaving the white man wounded. In retaliation, the mob retrieved their own weapons, while others ransacked local businesses in search of weapons. The mob had swelled to 2,000 white men, mostly armed, and were met by a few dozen armed black men. The first battle began on the outskirts of Greenwood District, and left 10 white men and 2 black men gunned down. The firefight raged on through the night, consequently spilling over onto Black Wall Street. This prompted some residents to take up arms, others to hide and flee. The angry mob began to set fires to property as they looted and destroyed local black-owned businesses. Tulsa fire trucks showed up, but were threatened if they helped put out any of the blazes. They retreated, and the fires engulfed the district. As the bullets rang out, an attack from above came down. Dozens of planes carrying assailants and firebombs flew over, causing even more death and structural damage. It took days for the smoke to clear. In the end, upwards 200 dead black bodies were recovered. Black Wall Street reduced to ashes.
Have you heard about the salt trick that's making men stay hard for hours in bed?
So, you're telling me that we supposed to believe in these modern day leaders, these modern day orators, these modern day online social media heads, these modern day I'm building a school Negroes. We supposed to believe in Pan-Africanism, and we supposed to believe that right now we can separate. That's what we supposed to believe right now. We can truly separate. They said that Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, had a city of 2 movie theaters. This is 1920 something. Grocery stores, barbershops, 2 hotels in this city, this little town, this area. Matter of fact, I want to know the demographics of Black Wall Street. What's the demographics of Black Wall Street? Let's find out that real quick. How about that, folks? Can we find out the demographics? How many acres of land was Black Wall Street? How many acres of land was the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Y'all ready for that number? Somebody tell me what number you think it is. Somebody please tell me what number you think it is. Huh? Because according to the Civil War, we were supposed to be getting 40 acres in the mule, right? Well, the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, also known as the Greenwood District, was originally 40 acres of land. So 10,000 folks, 40 acres of land. Roy Wilkins Park in Jamaica, Queens, Southeast Queens, is 54 acres of land. 54 acres of land. Thousands of people can fit up in that space. But when you start building, you know what I'm saying? But 54 acres, they said this was 40 acres land. Let's just see. Maybe it build up from there. Okay, let me see. Let me read a little bit more. I'm going to read a little bit more. Purchased in 1906. A wealthy African-American businessman bought 40 acres of land in North Tulsa. Gurley, his name was Gurley. Gurley sold the land exclusively to black settlers and built a rooming house on a strip of road, naming it Greenwood Avenue. Growth. The community grew quickly and became a mecca for black entrepreneurs. Destruction. In 1921, a white mob attacked the Greenwood district, destroying an estimated 35 acres of commercial and residential property. I'm going to show you what 54 acres of land look like, okay? Can I get an image of Roy Wilkins Park in Southeast Queens? I miss my park. I made a lot of money in this park. Okay, let me show you a little bit aerial view of 54 acres of land. Sorry. Let me blow this up a little bit for you. Oh, where you going? Huh? Where you going? Okay. This is Merrick Boulevard. You got Merrick and Baisley. You know what I'm saying? I want to show you some more images of Roy Wilkins Park. $54 acres of land is a nice size. I can't imagine having 40 acres of land just for one person. I mean, that's a lot of land, folks. I'm not lying to you. 54 acres of land is one thing, but 40,000 for one individual is a hell of a space. Okay? Because on this 50 acres of land, they got a football field, a track field. You know, on the football field, you have a big area space for where they do the park events. Thousands and thousands of people fit in there. Tens of 20,000 folks easy fit in that space. Easy. They have the swimming. They have the park recreation center. They have the tennis courts. They have the baseball field. They have the basketball courts. They have the playground. That's all in this, and it's huge. It's huge. So I want to see if they got a picture of me. Maybe they might have an image of me in this park. I never checked this shit. They should have an image of me. I was part of the park. I never looked at this. Hating ass. They should have an image of me. Shit. So this is another image of the park. This is 54 acres of land. Okay, so that's 54 acres of land. And I say all that because of the fact that
Man, listen, what I'm about to tell you.
1731. Upwards, planes carrying assailants and firebombs.
for this one little situation to take place, and it blows up to this big mecca thing where they bring planes to bomb this little city. We must focus on protection. They bombed Tulsa, Oklahoma. They bombed Philadelphia. They burnt down well, that was Greenwood. They burnt down Rosewood. They isolated Chocolate City. They dismantled Seneca, which was Central Park now. It was actually called Freedom Town. They gentrified Harlem, and we still talk about we can separate. I would like to hear from those Pan-Africans who believe in separation. What's their blueprint for separation? What's the top 10? What's the first 3 things that we should do, that we can do for us to separate? So let me do a quick poll, even though there's nobody here. Is it possible for blacks to separate without Okay, so is it possible for us to separate without us being able to police and protect ourselves? I'm just gonna put that up there. I hope it's spelled right. Is it possible for blacks to separate in America without policing, let's say policing and protecting ourselves? Policing. How you spell policing? Whatever. Okay, do you think it's possible? Is it possible, folks? Let me know. I don't know. But according to what I just played for you for that first hour and 42 minutes, it's not possible. It's not possible at all for us to be able to separate in this country. It's not possible for us to be able to separate in this country with all the snow bunny lovers. Not to mess up, for us to not get bombed, and because it seems like every time they got bombed or they came and bombed us was when we did some Central Park shit. Okay, whenever we, for some reason, decide that we're gonna go and whistle at one of these white girls, touch one of these white girls, sex one of these white girls, that's when these cats come in our communities, thousands ready to bomb us, ready to fight us. So maybe if you want separation, it gotta be black women over white women. It'd be otherwise you're gonna burn your country, you're gonna burn your little city down. But I say to you right now, this is a blueprint. If y'all want reparations, that's your blueprint. I just now gave you a blueprint for reparations. And our reparations consist of being able to build a black Wall Street in honor for honor of Greenwood Avenue. The people and the victims of Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We want our black Wall Street. 40 acres of land? Let's get 50. As a matter of fact, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it simple. We can go with 40 acres. Let's go with the 40 acres and 50 states. And each landmark dedicated to Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is our new Greenwood Avenue cities. It's a historic landmark spot that we build, and this is what we're going to do with our reparations. And it's going to be a little tourist, tourist attraction. Well, they can come and see stage shows, concerts, plays, because what takes place in Roy Wilkins Park is what we're going to do in each one. We're going to have our own movie theater there, roller skating rink, some all little things like, or whatever the case may be, entertainment. It's going to be very culturematic, okay? And it's going to be a tourist attraction in every city, every state. And that's reparations right there. Black owned, and we're going to build from there. We're going to build from there. And then that's your way of separating. Let's get something that we can build from. That's my push. That's my focus. Let's get something from this new presidency, this new cabinet. We push the Greenwood massacre of our Black Wall Street, and we want to honor these folks in every freaking city where we get 40 acres of land, 50 acres of land, make 40 to 100 acres of land to run our own little Black Wall Streets and let there be tourist attractions. We build a library, we build a museum in each one of them. So now it's educational. You gotta make them feel like they're really doing something. We gotta play the game, folks. So build Black Wall Streets. In 50 states. And from that, building Black Wall Streets in 50 states in honor of Greenwood, Black Wall Street. Okay. That's the first steps and first stage of us being able to separate. Because from these little landmark cities, these little landmark cities in honor of Greenwood will be our reparation platform that we can build from. But folks, we gotta wake up. We have to. I just gave you reasons why we cannot scream and shout. We separate. We separate. We separate. We need to separate without knowing that if you're not willing to protect your shit with your blood, you can't separate. See, look at Ukraine. They willing to die for their separation. If you're not willing to die for your separation, if you think that your separation is just supposed to be honored, you got another thing coming. So if you don't want them to call you on your bluff and start taking away your resources, where your pools are not opening in your communities, your after-school programs is being not funded, your summer camps your summer school programs are not being funded. All the things that takes place in for summertime funds are being removed from your community because you keep saying you want to separate. If you don't want to start seeing that, then you must develop a different language. It's important for us to develop a different language that actually will help us be able to separate. Because my thing is this: what are the 5 keys for being able to separate within the country? What is the 5 keys for Black folks to be able to separate within America? What are the 5 keys for Black people to be able to separate in this country? That's what I want us to really get in our minds. What are the 5? Ask Umar Johnson. Ask all the Pan-Africans that's out there. Ask your Qs and everybody that's on their platforms. What are the 5 steps for us to be able to separate from this country? As a matter of fact, I'm going to go to they might be live right now. And I'm going to go to their panel real quick and check it out real quick. All right, how about that? Let's go see real quick. Who's live? Who's live? Right now, it says, when did the foundation stop being African? And then there was another one. Is it really about unity or separation? Okay, see, so I know I've been doing these things, and I've watched this man's channel, and I watch him or them come up with different found the lead. So we're going to keep this going, okay? We're going to keep this one going. So right now I'm going to tap in, and I'm going to ask them, what are the 5 steps for separation of this country? Let's check that out.
You said yes, I would have to create it. That means that you currently don't have the data. That means that currently you're making claims and you're making arguments without anything to back it up.
Hear the chaos?
What's the term niggas like to use about the fallacy? Okay, so if you don't know how to use it, if you don't know how to use it, don't bring it up. So I'm gonna ask you again: are you in possession? Hold on, are you in possession of any data that proves? Are you in possession? Are you in possession of any data that proves the attitudes that you say Africans have towards black people in general? Do you have any of that current?
Again, so you don't have to cut me off. Ask it again.
Answer the question.
Ask it again and then let me
answer the question. Answer the question. Answer the question. Answer the question and shut the fuck up.
Be doing.
Straight up. Answer the question and shut the fuck up.
So yes, I do have that data.
Okay, can you provide it? Can you provide it? Can you share your screen and show that data?
This is what Pan-Africanists be doing with their time. They be fighting for education.
Can you share your screen and provide that data?
This is the leadership. This is what people we need to follow.
You fucking liar.
That's your opinion.
People who just
it's not your opinion
about.
No, it's not. You don't have it. You're a liar.
Strategy is to continue.
This is FBA.
Because at the end of the day,
this is FBA.
This is
FBA. No, I don't fuck with you. You right. You right. I don't fuck with slow niggas, bro. I really don't.
Prove my point.
You FBA niggas can stay with a fuck y'all at.
Point.
Straight up.
Now my point to my FBA people is stop wasting your time.
Hey, but you right here. Then shut the fuck up. Why you still talking? So why you still talking? So why you still talking?
Very beneficial.
Why you still running your mouth? No, take your own advice. Take your own advice and shut up. Take your own advice and shut up. Take your own advice and shut up. It's that simple. Take your own advice and shut up. Just like you said. You said FBA.
Let's do it in reverse. What are you not doing to benefit the black community for that? And then let's see if we want.
All right, I just sent this message. Let's see. What are 5 steps for separation from Americans?
What are y'all doing? We organizing together. Don't sit up here and say that we ain't doing nothing.
This is
organizing.
organizing.
Not doing anything.
Let's slow it down. That's all we're asking for, right? Because they saying Pan-Africans don't support. So we want to know what are y'all working on? Then we can see if Pan-Africans.
We're working on delineating.
Number one, Q. Number one, Q. I want to
can't be charging for no damn Africans who don't fuck with me. What y'all talking about, bro?
You real fucking stupid. You sound stupid. You sound stupid as fuck. Motherfuckers just run their mouth.
Let him go for the soundbite. Go ahead.
We already understand that these
people can you state it
don't rock with us at all.
Your elevation, can you state it over so we can just what exactly?
Why do you have a woman as your avatar?
How from?
Why do you have a woman as your avatar?
I
already questioned this fruitcake movement. We got an old dude up here.
I don't give a man. It's y'all already emotional up here, my nigga.
I got them answering it. It says 1. Find a central theme around which. Let me turn this down. One person says, find a central theme around which to organize your movement. Articulate your cause as a simple and clear message. 2. Identify shared grievances and build a collective vision. Explain why existing solutions are not adequate. 3. See, like I say, when I tap into people's mind. I know how to ask a question and change the whole everything, direction. This person said 3. Organize organize like-minded individuals and create allies. No movement can be successful without supporters and collaborators. 4. Challenge, establish norms, and offer alternatives. Show how your vision is better than the status quo. And 5. Inspire actions through public demonstrations. Mobilize people to join your cause and resist oppression. All right, folks. Now, all I did was tap in over there, and I tapped in the live, and I says, "What are the 5 steps for separation from American?" And this is the response I got. Okay, I sent the message in this Pan Africanist platform, and I got instant response. But this was from people that's just in the chat. But the people on the panel, they too much in chaos talking to each other. I think I want to tap in on their live stream.
Just tell us what it is that y'all are working on. So
they dropped the link now. Let's see. Let's see if I'm getting the link dropped. Yes, I got the link dropped.
So I brought up the group Jack and Jill.
I got the link dropped. Okay, folks. Trust me. When I say hood president, I know what to say, folks, to make people respond. So
I'm asking if anybody knew what that was.
the link has been dropped.
Jack and Jill. I know you know. Oh, hold up.
Nah, not for real, bro. Is that something that they think is working on?
These niggas crazy. That's something we have in place.
Y'all working on?
That's stuff we have in place. It's an extremely valuable organization that focuses on getting black babies into the best schools we can get them into.
The best schools we can get them to.
Right?
I'm about to tap into this person's platform real quick, okay, folks? I'm on my live, but I'm about to tap in because they dropped the link for me. I already know it was. Let's see.
Is it people who call themselves FBA, that acronym, are they behind the program? I mean, I know they're not, but I'm trying to figure out if you're gonna lie about it or not.
I just told you I spend my money over there, Goofy. And I got
so
more
it's not an
money
FBA program.
than you'll probably ever attain while you calling me stupid.
And you still can't pay to have education. You still can't pay to get rid of them learning disorders. No matter how much money you got.
I ain't got no learning disorder, my nigga. Yo, everything about my education was designed for me to get a bag, and I've achieved that, nigga.
Yo, we gotta take a pause, yo. Yo, we gotta take a pause.
Hold on, you wanna make it rain? You wanna make it rain in the super chat?
Nah, hold on.
Go ahead, I dare you.
Try me?
Put 200. I dare you put 200. I dare you put 200 in the super chat right now. You got it.
Oh, man. Hey, why y'all niggas got so many questions, man? Y'all niggas sound like the feds in here. Asking all these damn questions, nigga.
And you sound like 4 days, nigga. Shut up.
4 days worth of...
This is what our Pan Africans be doing on their live stream for 11 hours. It's kind of weird. What happened? I hit the link. What happened? I don't know what happened, folks, but I am trying to tap into their link.
Questions, man. Ain't no answer shit, man.
You sound like a goofy. Get the fuck off the panel, nigga. Then get off the panel.
Hold on. Can we start?
Silly ass niggas, man.
Let's see if I can ask this question. I want to ask this question. I'm going to a Pan-Africanist. I'm going to their platform, and I want to ask the question of what are the 5 steps for separating from this country? Okay, so I'm about to go live on someone else's platform and ask this question, okay? Continue on YouTube. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Okay, folks, let's see how this goes. Let's see.
I would say we're not looking. Shout out the world, man. Shout out to my healthcare. We're looking for Nah, man, it's all I fuck with y'all. But yeah, man, y'all ain't gonna.
Between the two.
About to ask a question. I'm on the panel now. I'm on the panel.
You on another screen, so you're very intelligent.
No, that's the thing. How does this get so complicated? Because I'm honestly trying to understand what's the difference between an FBA and an African American. Because clearly you're trying to make a difference.
I'm in this show right now. I'm about to ask a question.
Right? We don't respect Pan-African traditions of things like one mic.
My question is, my question to this paper on their panel for these Pan-Africanists is, what are the 5 steps for us to separate from this country? So I'm about to ask this question.
No, don't do that. Hold on.
It's a dromicidal
Try to understand me more than disagree with me, my brother, because I know you intelligent.
No, I want you to just understand my question clearly so you can answer that one. In terms of delineation, what's the difference between a delineation of an African American and a delineation of an FBA?
I forgot the word melanated. At this point in America, all people of African descent
respect, unity, love,
African
and
Americans
power.
when they come here to this country, including Elon Musk.
So once this delineation.
Hold on, real quick. James, bro, I can't even respond to a nigga that brings up Elon Musk. Hold on, real quick. Yo, James M. Say something. Yo, Marley, what's going on, Marley? Yo, hold on. Who's James M? This nigga talking about Tesla. James M. You got to turn your camera on. We about to kick you.
Yo.
I turned my camera on. Hold on, no, your team.
Yo.
Hold on. Have the conversation with me.
I'm gonna ask you the question that you like.
Oh, that's fine. So the reason for delineation, the reason for any form of separation is because at this point.
Wait, there you go, right there. Separation from what?
Wow. To establish who we are.
Right? Separation from what?
Separation isn't necessarily a negative thing.
Bro, answer the question, yo.
Bro, I'm trying to answer you. I see separation in the West Indian Day Parade, right? This group wears
That's not an answer. This is not an answer. You're talking at us.
I'm trying
He wants to know what are you separating from? Specifically, what are you separating
from? My knowledge. We're on the same team.
No, we're not. No, we're actually not.
Don't fear my response.
Let him answer.
Don't fear my response.
So let us know what you're separating from, because you said there's a
So I'm on the platform right now.
So I don't necessarily bro. Certain levels of separations as
You don't view certain levels of separation as
it is battery power go out.
So is it fair to say that FBA was once together from something and now they want to be separate from it? And then delineate them separately by, I guess, precisely pointing out the difference from what they were to what they are now? And what is that? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Aboriginals, truth day, Aboriginal Hebrew Moors. That's always been here. They
Okay, hold on. The delineation is to segregate black people from other black people, creating further division. Well, I don't know.
So, folks, I'm on this other people panel while I'm live. And I just have a question. I'm just waiting for them to cool down. I'm going to ask them a question.
James, what side? Not to say what side. You want to answer that?
I didn't hear him 100%. You know what I'm saying? What was the question?
He said we're trying to separate from Hagen as off cold coons. G-Style said, all right, so separate from so separation. So that's the priority. So that's the first and most important thing. The FBA right now is the
separation. How to separate from coons?
Is that the consensus?
How to separate from the coons?
In the chat, for everybody who's the FBA, is that the consensus? The top priority is the separation from other coons or other blacks?
No, I don't agree with that.
Well, that sounds like a
clarify in order for everybody to be able to accept and understand my response.
What do we
first thing I was saying?
It's always hilarious listening to these coons project.
What do we consider the coons?
Trying to call other people coons is disgusting.
What do we consider the coons?
But the first I was saying was, I don't view the term separation as inherently negative.
Yeah, like you can have separated groups.
You can have separating as a part of the collective, and it can be very, very prosperous. You can look at the African Council. You can look at NATO, right? These are separated groups, all defined, working toward a common goal. Right? So can we accept the separation doesn't necessarily have to be negative? Can we accept that?
What are you separating from?
Yeah, just define the party that you're separating from. That's all I'm asking. That's it.
I am separating to define myself.
No! What are you separating from? What are you separating from?
I'm separating from the term African American that encompasses anyone of African lineage that comes to this country.
So you're separating yourselves from people of African lineage.
I'm defining myself.
You're separating yourself from people of...
So to the point I was making, and I want you to understand this, right? That's why I want to be able to explain it. When you look at the West Indian Day Parade, you have tons of separated people. This is why everybody wears their flag. United for a common cause of turning up and representing their people and showing love. Right?
Okay, please allow me to interject, because you just made a fundamental flaw in your life.
Yeah.
When you talk about things like the West Indies Parade, when you talk about things like NATO, yes, they're separate, but they just like you said, they've come together for a common cause.
So you with?
But even what you're identifying that they're already separate. Black people in America.
Now you're recognizing that separation doesn't mean we can't work together, right?
Let me finish.
I'm asking you to understand.
Let me finish. Let me finish, and you'll know what I was saying.
So hard.
If you allow me to finish. The fact of the matter is, we already recognize that we're separate. We are blacks in America. We are blacks in America. They are blacks in Africa. They're blacks in the islands. They're blacks in Europe. We know that we're separate. That doesn't need to be. The reason why
I'm saying we are not blacks in all these places. You're saying we are blacks on Eastern Parkway. We are blacks in Brooklyn. We are blacks in America.
I'm not done. So, like I said, we're already separate. But what, for example, Pan-Africanism is the idea that as separate entities, we come together in an understanding of who is creating the circumstances that oppress us today. So the fact that you have to explain
Pan-Africanist platform talk about separation amongst themselves.
Insightful.
African Americans, Black people, foundational Black Americans,
as separate entities, just like you said, people come together for common cause. So when you were saying,
my question to them is, how do we separate from this American system that y'all say we should separate from?
You're literally separating from the coming together of people. So you can't use the logic both ways. Either you recognize that we can be separate and still be together, or you.
My question to you is the Jamaican waving his Jamaican flag separating and not willing to work together?
No, but that's the thing. They are willing to work together. They got a different flag.
That was my point. That was my question.
That's not your point.
So now, me separating to define myself.
You're talking about creating a separation. You're creating a separation from something that's already separate.
I'm not talking about creating anything. Those separations are already there. You don't understand that.
No, that's what I'm saying. This is when it gets disrespectful, because a nigga that think like you telling me I don't understand something. If you don't, I know niggas think about. I think you do understand.
So our overall point.
I think you would acknowledge that those separations have already been there. I'm not creating anything.
This is what I'm saying. Like, that's not what you're saying. When you're talking about separating, we know that we're separate. You're separating from the coming together that people have done. We know that we separate and we came together. Now you're trying to separate even more than we already separate.
We trying to separate from each other of this country.
By defining myself,
I
am doing something different than
It's how you define yourself. It's how you define yourself. It's not the fact of defining oneself. It's how one can define themselves. And if you define yourself by separating from a group that you are already ideologically associated with, that means you're creating divisions.
We agree that's not a negative thing, right?
So we are separating from
this. That's not an inherent negative.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that.
Nations can be nations. Trinity. Jamaicans can be Jamaicans, and they can all work for the same goal. Did we agree on that or no?
It can never be black power with these type of people.
I asked you a question, brother. Can you answer the question?
Trying to have a rational conversation with it.
That's the last thing you're trying to control the city.
Can I ask you a question?
I see where this is coming from. You want your own little country where you could be like as separate as ours. It's no white people. It's just
he wants to be around white people. No, he want to be around.
John, I can explain, right? I'm saying, in terms of all the peoples of the diaspora, I'm in a very unique position.
Everybody in the diaspora is in a unique position.
Where are we separating from each other from? Where are we going to separate and go?
Nigerians got a unique experience. We
have a unique experience. We all have unique experiences. What's your point? I don't believe they all have unique experiences. That's why you need to stop talking. I believe each one of those people you named have their own homogeneous nation. You're dumb. Venezuelans don't have Barbados. Trinidadians don't have Trinidad. Nigerians don't have Nigeria. Unique experience, yes. They have a unique experience, dummy. So what makes my experience extremely unique to what none of those groups will experience is
So are we trying to separate from the system in the country or each other?
Basically, you're playing the oppression Olympics. That's what you're saying. Yes. Basically. Yes. That's what this whole thing's all about. That's what you want to hear. If that's what you want to hear. This is stupid. That's what you want to hear. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. I literally just said everybody got a unique experience. You said ours are more extremely unique. Basically, you have no oppression Olympics. And you don't want to acknowledge that.
What happens
when you don't want to acknowledge that? On the styrofoam boat, and you don't want to acknowledge what I'm saying. What does more extremely unique even look like? What does that look like? It looks like Brooklyn. It looks like America. It will never look like Jamaica or Nigeria because we ain't going to. Nigeria won't look like America. All the children of the diaspora ain't going there. They have unique experience. What's like your dumbass ain't getting?
What happens if the end game is reached and then people are identified as FBA? Then what happens?
I ain't got a broke up. Say that again.
What happens when the goal is reached and all of these people identify as FBA? Then what?
We can seek assets that we couldn't get in this country that's considered identified. We can get assets.
That phone sounds like shit, y'all.
Nah, they sniped him from the West Wing. He got sniped by him.
Does anybody?
Dude, he been on the panel for 14, 16 straight hours. We don't need him on the panel to address his target points. We know what his target points is. He keeps saying them over and over and over again.
So basically what he's saying is that if we become foundational Black Americans, it'll help us get reparations and other shit. Nigga, please.
Nah, I think, you know what?
No,
I
don't want no reparations.
That's what they say to get. That's what they say to lure you in. They'll start talking about it's about reparations, But the entire time they come up here, they're not talking about reparations. They clapping on Africa.
Wait, so I'm serious. Like, Psycho, do you know? Like, I know you know about this. So okay, so I asked the same question when Moors do this and the Israelites do this and the Arabs do this. We all supposed to claim this. Okay, so if in a dream scenario, people then all claim FBA, then what?
The question is, are we separating from this country?
They feel better about themselves because they don't feel prideful in themselves. FBA gives them pride. Yeah, it gives them pride. They didn't have pride before Tariq gave them the 3 levels.
Right, so I'm just trying to get like, what else is there more to it? Hey, okay, now we're not. I'm sorry.
No, when I literally say nothing else true, like I'm not being sarcastic. You heard the other dude, the last 2 dudes come up. They co-signed what he said. It's nothing. As long as we're looked at as separate, they cool.
So what are we uniting on? What principles are we uniting on?
We can literally have the conversation, what they talking about. What, and I'm gonna help it out their argument. So what I hear is a very explicit servicing description. So in the terms of like, if you went to welfare and you filled out you're a Black American, the idea, I guess, is that if you are a foundational Black American, you should be have more services available to you based off of the history that you have with this country. So it's kind of in that space of like explicitly being serviced as a population
within other populations. So yes, there's black community. Within the black community, this shelter is for black women. Now they were saying, all right, black women wouldn't be enough. This shelter is for black women who are descendants of American slavery. Like, but I think that's the language that they want to say. I was waiting to see if that's what he was trying to say. I'm like, that's not.
I'm sorry, Q. Can you tell that a number? I just don't understand. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny.
It would be in that case where, like, if you're filing for a grievance for service, and the explicit party that has to be serviced from that, whatever it is.
It's so hard to tap in on these panels because these guys have too much testosterone to just speak, and they sound like they, saying something intelligent. But I would like to know the overall angles of what they talking about.
Since they got snatched from West Africa, this is like seriously.
This is a Pan-African platform.
Now I don't get.
And
what are we talking? Like what?
Let's figure out.
They had a number of names. It's just like, okay, this is the latest iteration, guys, of who we are. We're no longer African American. We're now FBA. I'm game.
Well, no, that would be the closest, like, to me, the professional, like, the way I would say it, like the explicit, like, you have things that are for Native Americans, and then within the terms of Native Americans, you have explicit tribal designated resources.
Right. So what you're saying is what I'm trying to get at. So there is a difference between an FBA and an African American. What is that?
An African American could be something that's a label that could be put onto anybody who's black.
We're not playing that now because we know who we talk. Okay, black people. Like, well, this is the new we were talking about. The Africans and all them other people becoming. We knew when we said African Americans exactly what we talked about.
That's the space and the reality of the conversation. Like where the allowance has went and what's the repercussions of the allowance. Like personally, for me, I always refer to Obama speaking on reparations, and then the community allowing this biracial person whose family doesn't have any connection to the history or culture of Black America like that, be a representative of a conversation that's very pertinent to Black history in America. And I think that was very much distasteful for him to even take the conversation in any, responsible way like that. That was just very distasteful and wrong.
Is it possible? Sorry, is it possible?
Like conversations like that have created the.
Is there a reason why this comment is highlighted? Am I supposed to address this?
Oh no, I didn't even see that.
Nah, that's probably with me, Psycho.
Is there any way to coexist as FBAs and ADOs and Pan-Africans?
The previous generations then say that they're FBA. And is this something supposed to happen, change in our condition, or like is it supposed to trigger something?
It's a response to, I think, cultural ignorance, the cultural stigmas that we deal with. That. I think that's just, like, for me as a Pan-African, I understand it that way. Where you do have people who have spewed sentiments that were very much tone deaf and ignorant to the people that are part of the privileges that they're enjoying, and that creates a space for unsettled resentment. And I think that's what we're hearing a lot of in the conversation, where people they might have experienced somebody who was here.
Okay, Q, hold on to that point. So identifying now as FBA, does it change the condition?
No, that's the point of. That's the point of where I think the addressing is coming from a bad space, initially from Yvette Cornell, because they started the beef with Pan-Africans. Tariq Nasheed and them got on the bandwagon because he saw that was the tempo they was on. Like, oh shit, there's 1 million Black people that don't fuck with Pan-Africans. I didn't even know that till I got on YouTube. I thought everybody was cool with Pan-Africans. So I got on YouTube, like, oh shit.
Most people, I didn't know that. I had no clue that's what it was. So
what makes Pan-Africanists a target to go after?
He started off with what have Pan-Africans did for us. And I'm like, where the fuck do y'all live?
But do me a favor, Pan-Africanism is an ideology. I'm talking specifically about African Americans because you're talking about a difference.
FDA is an ideology, and that's what things get confusing, truth, because that's what ideology as well. But they'll sit there and first they'll say it's about lineage, and then we say, well, okay, well, why did your lineage start at 1865? What was going on for that? Well, why is it like when did your lineage start? Right? So it ain't about genetics, right? Because they trying to study that genetics. And then they say it's about culture, but then they'll turn around and say, no, it's really about, they all over the place. They don't know what it's about.
No cutoff point.
That's the part about it why, like, you often hear me say, like, it's the colonial perspective. To me, the argument is about colonialism. Like, when they center it around reparations, and I don't like this. I don't want people to think I'm saying it. I'm going to say that colonialism is the issue. And the only way to address the issues that Black people have been facing throughout the diaspora is to understand it, that it's a system of colonialism, and then survey and compare and contrast the differences in the way in which Black people survived in these different areas of colonialism, and also survey the different methods that were employed by
I'm on the person's platform right now.
Black people. That way we have a greater understanding of how we've come to understand or come to develop our own pathological thought patterns that we have now. That's
just name change, though, because like I said, we've had those things we're talking about have had a variety of names. So it wasn't necessarily the name change, it was actions that were associated around it. So we're talking about name change. I'm trying to get to, okay, once this name change occurs, that's supposed to trigger something? Or do you automatically have hospitals and black jobs?
Long enough, man, we just stop calling ourselves Black. Our mystical powers will come back. We start calling ourselves in life.
Man.
It's all about who we identify as is the problem, right? So it's always been about identity. It's always been about calling ourselves something other than what we calling ourselves.
Right. Because that Black, the word Black is supposed to symbolize death.
But that's a consistent theme. That's a consistent theme in wokeism, right?
That's the side, and I think FBAs, like that portion, whoever's in the FBA world has to also recognize that the leadership, whether you yourself from the leadership, a lot of the talking points they have come from the leadership in attacking Pan-Africans, which creates a space where Pan-Africans are hypercritical of FBAs.
I think it comes from the conscious world and the ability, okay, we can play the name game. Because this is just, but hear me out, I'll give you an example. It's a new flavor of saying, okay, we're now calling ourselves more, so this is going to happen. Or we are now calling ourselves Abos, and so this is going to happen.
It's not from the conscious community. That's what I'm saying. Like, Yvette Cornell and Tone, they have nothing to do with the conscious community.
Yeah, I disagree.
The FDA is the conscious community, and they hijacked the political movement that Cornell was doing. That part of it, I agree with. But the internet also blended this super group and some of them together. Like when you see the
Is there such thing as a foundational Black person without the title?
The rhetoric with look at the albums. The rhetoric blends into it. So if I get onto we get onto some the algorithm shit, like the rhetoric, and you see the overlaps. Look at the brothers and people that came up. You hear the overlaps in their talking points. You know what I mean? Like, even the way the information is being displayed, I wouldn't consider it conscious community, because they don't. It's not based off an argument. It's based off of that's what I know. They don't.
I'm on someone else's platform, just trying to ask some questions, see if I can get some answers. It's hard to get answers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 9 people up there.
That was trying to do, but they started with attacking
Pan-Africans and Africans. They started with that. That's just what it is. They started with that. That's with the temple of the common service being able to identify.
Yeah, and some of the initial attack on STEM because people that comment specifically about the entitlement of reparations.
Like this person, this Black Americans for got lost, nothing wrong. Like this represent.
Hello.
True. This is where we are. To me, and I'm not. Y'all, not everybody.
Hold on, Via.
Not everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, some of us have arch each other in a lot. So I think that's what the amalgamation of the conversation on both sides. But I'm asking the Pan-Africans to take a different ear with a little grace to understand, like, this is like truth. What you're asking, like, about the lighting sediment of the community. Like there is a feeling going on of not being represented or having their voice being overlooked in the community.
Well, yes, that's what I'm trying to get at. Who's overlooking? Like, yeah, who
Good question.
It's like talking to the that's what I'm trying to get at.
That's why I'm attached to the Fat Joe conversation. So I also understand this from American, like the way a lot of Black people in America understand the word immigrant, the way they internalize the experience of the word immigrant. So I recognize from YouTube, most Black people in America hear the word immigrant and throw everybody in that box. And so, but I also recognize in the reverse, people in the Caribbean also recognize that word and they put themselves together in a box. You're like, when you hear Busta Rhymes defending Puerto Ricans based off of being a Caribbean person. And so these little boxes that people have put themselves into in the conversation, it being reflected on. And I think that's what, if we just step back.
Let's just get down to a Q. Because at the end of the day, now I got to ask the FBAs or us good old cotton pickers, how is that, all this stuff stopping your bread? Like, how is this in your way? That's what I'm saying. How is the ox stopping you from doing what you need to do?
The perception of a pot of a check being already written out, defined.
Well, I would say in representation, in ignorance representation. So I would say that would
It's not me. I'm on the outside.
I would say in representation and ignorance. And again, I would refer back to Obama, Busta Rhymes, people just being ignorant and being in places where their voice matters, or even in political positions where their voice matters, or economic, business.
This is all about who controls the money.
Also, having an understanding of the Black.
Yeah, Donna, definitely trash.
Also, we just got to keep this saying. It's niggas taking on white nationalist tendencies. Facts. That's what it is. That's what I mean. Niggas taking on white nationalist tendencies.
Well, that's what
I mean. The knee-jerk, let's be for real, because if you pay attention, right? Even what Will was breaking down, I want to be separate. That's literally whiteness. That's like the idea of being a part of the diaspora is recognizing the separateness, but the connection. The separateness is there, and so when we start to say that, okay, we got to distance ourselves from Africans.
Me too. It's not mine, it's theirs. His reception's going out.
In Brooklyn, he's an Asian dude, and he got a book he put out talking about police and his explosion in the police department. I don't fuck with that whole side because son still promotes the police. It's weird how he's going about this shit. And to me, in my mind, he's just a Haitian coon. He don't know no better. He's no different than a Black American coon. Like they come in.
But that type of ignorance, ignorance is literally them just going along with American socialization.
And that's why the first word I used was ignorance. Like that. Like to me, that's the biggest. When he was saying how does it affect Black Americans, and that would be in any space, just ignorance. Like that's.
But what make that ignorance danger is the attachment to like literally anti-Black attitudes and trying to disguise it as something else. Because it's not, like I've been saying, it's no surprise that these same people that got a problem with Africans are also the same people that got a problem with migrants. Ones that the same ones who developed a certain attitude about American nationalism, like it makes them unique when it's actually the definition of their oppression. You can't get around that.
How are the Africans stopping the bag? That's what I'm trying to get. Like, somebody answer this. How are they in the way of the bag? That should be the
Which bag? Bag for what?
Somebody gonna answer that.
What bag is he talking about?
Sarcastic. Attendance, followers, subscribe. That is currency. That is Bitcoin. That is dollar.
Something went wrong. Sadly, they are all over the place. And yo, let me tell you something. Let me see if I can get back in. But these people are so over the place. This Pan-Africanism against FBA, Foundation of Black Americans. So that's the topic right now, you know, and I'm trying to figure out, can you be a Pan-African and be a foundational Black American, a person who's born in this country? And what stops you from being one? I'm gonna try and get us back. What's my view? My view is, of course, you know what I'm saying? There's no way in life that you cannot, if your family born.
Hello.
Go ahead.
If you're born and your family is born from this country, is from this country, and you consider yourself a foundational Black American, but you believe in Pan-Africanism, you believe in doing for self, yes, damn. I don't know if I'm able to get back on. I don't know why, but something keeps going wrong. I'm connected. I got my bars, but for some reason, can't be on. I don't know what's going on. And like you said, it's always, I wish I see it's going around. Come on, baby. This is whack. Whoever StreamYard I'm on, they have a bad reception. I have all the bars on my internet. It sucks. But like I say, I don't see why. I do know why, because a lot of the Pan-Africans are from Caribbean islands. And so they have a certain beef because they don't feel that they are being considered on what Tariq Nasheed says is foundational Black Americans. So because they have the beef. A lot of the people who's from Caribbean backgrounds.
That wasn't something that was practiced in my house, but it's something that I identified with based on the conditions that we live in, what I seen going on socially in life. And most of my family would say I was militant, right? They would call me Angela Davis.
Great question.
Very,
What is it? What would be the difference? Is there one between, you said you consider yourself FBA and
correct.
Black people? What's the difference?
So I think one is the mindset, right? I think that's one of the things that's a part of it, and it is language. So the difference is, I think somebody did reference it, that yes, we went through different names, right? Black people, when whites specifically see Black people, they don't see separation. We were just all grouped in, right? That's the mindset that was kind of passed down through, my ancestors, our grandparents and things, right? But yes, now that reparations have come up specifically, yes,
all about reparations.
That's part of the conversation, but it's also lineage. So it isn't just mindset.
Wait, hold on. So it's about mindset. I'm just trying to understand,
it's about the money.
Mindset.
So it's just whether I'm African American or
the Pan-Africans didn't come up with it. Tariq did.
One believes.
So Pan-Africans.
So FBA believes the lineage starts at 1865. What would you say an African American believes?
So as far as when the lineage started, I'm not sure exactly why 1865 is like the cutoff line or the date. I predate, right? That to me, the ancestry predates that, but I think that timeline was just given to draw a line, right? Because throughout slavery, you do have us coming throughout the Caribbean and other things. So you're not going to be able to just go back to all this paperwork and be able to pinpoint exactly where everybody comes from. In a conversation that me and
I was just going to say, as far as that point, though, because you have mentioned at that point was 1865, how does that differ from what an African American may believe as far as their lineage?
Can I answer the other question you asked really quick? I'm going to be in and out.
Willie?
Yeah, the difference between Pan-African
No, bro. No, man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I don't think an African American or one who identifies as an African American would think that their lineage is any different. I would say those prior that identify as African American and that were here prior to slavery, they're still FBA. They just don't identify as FBA, and that's why I said it was a mindset as well as a lineage. Speaking with my sister about this recently, I'm like, how do we
2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I fell off, so I'm in the back. I think they can only have 10 on the panel, so and these niggas don't want to get off. They be sitting and sitting
my sister came up
and corny about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
If your grandparents,
I'm upset about that.
Great-grandparents, whoever you can trace it back to here in America, if they
so now my thing's shutting down.
Those who come about both by choice.
So it's shutting down now. Sorry. Gotta get it on the charger. So let me switch this charger real quick. So yeah, folks, this is the problem that we have, folks. That's why I say your leader, the people who want to be leaders, the people who want to be leaders, the people who think they leading the people because they educated, okay? These are people the platforms that they be having. This is the topics they be talking about. This is the argument that they be doing for 12 hours. And I promise you, it won't be a real result, because they don't want to really accept the fact that they don't know how to rule. Respect, unity, love, and empowerment. They think that their ideology is more important. Pan-Africanism is more important than people who believe in this being a foundational person, a person who believes in the original people. They believe that they should get reparations. It's so crazy. It's so disgusting. It's so depressing. And that's why I say to you folks that there's no way in life that y'all should be listening to anybody who's talking about we should be separating from a system when this is what they have to offer you. Jealousy, hate, and envy. Okay, jealousy, hate, and envy is not going to get us the victory that we need, folks. Jealousy, hate, and envy is only going to get us to have cops come in our communities and patrolling our communities, because we don't have no grips and control. Like you said, you love a good debate, but when that's nothing but pure chaos, and that's every night. I'm not going to do no advertising for them, but that's every night. That's their it's a Pan-Africanist platform. And the person, they have a school. So they have a school, they're Pan-Africanists, they're Pan-Africans, and they also don't have they also atheists. So there's a lot that goes on. They don't believe in God, they atheists. They and they believe that we should do for self. So we don't believe in God and we should do for self. That's that platform. And this is the people who educated individuals who want to lead you in science, alongside with the UMA who wants to lead you in African culture, who believe in praying to a lot of idols. Okay, a lot of people who's Pan-Africanists, they believe in giving praise to idols and various gods, and so a lot of them are atheists, and they think that they supposed to make you separate from the government, separate from your EBT card, separate from your Section 8, and they're gonna lead you to nowhere because they are really for themselves, for the dollar. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm sitting here, I'm really trying to get, if you get back on, ask them if they think Africa is going to pay reparations. And that's why I was saying on my platform, you know what I'm saying earlier, I say to you, like, Caribbean islands should pay for their reparations, Africa should pay for their reparations, okay? And America should pay Americans for their reparations. But yeah, if I get back on, we're going to try. We're going to try, okay, Donna K? Let me see what time is it? Okay, 9 o'clock. I got to get to the store before it closes. I want to get something to drink. So we're going to try and get this back on. There's only a 1%. So I had it on the charger, but the charger just is a short. We're trying to get back on that platform. Do you know any history about Italian Americans? Not much. I mean, Mussolini, a little bit about Mussolini, but nah, not really, because I don't really study too much about Italians. But why? Why you ask? You know, go ahead. You talk. You talk. Why you ask that? Hope you charge it, baby. It sucks. When immigrants came to America, you had the Italians and you also had the Irish, you know. But what about when Italian immigrants came to America? Talk. They were not considered white. Who's really considered white? The Irish. They was also considered immigrants too. What was Italians considered? See, I don't have my tablet to really jump in and Google, but, and you know, it's funny because I'm a little older now, so I forget a lot about history. But we did study that they were focused to live in distinct sections. Now, it's fun. It's great that you mentioned that because I'm saying to these folks, is it possible that we can, because they talk about separate, you know, we need to separate from these coons, and what side you on? Are you on the side of FBA or you side of Pan-Africans? I'm like, what's the question? Let me understand your question. When they were sent south. So I'm saying, is it possible that we can have the FBA sections in different cities? We can have the Pan-African cities in different in states. Is it possible to have different cities? They were slave labor. Everybody had they was probably more so indentured servants, but there was many slaves, and everybody played a role in slavery. It's just that, you know, whose slave was worse, and that's where everybody go off for the pity of that. But they was all slaves. Once they complete their work, once they completed their what? They were hung. And so, what war do we have for the Italians? The task. So once they finished their task, they was hung. So what did we do for the Italians? What war was for the Italians? Good question. Were they slaves or were they prisoners of war? So my man, so Norton says that there's a big difference. You know, was they prisoners of war, or what war was we in at the time? I don't think we was in war when they came. Was there war at the time? Did we go to war for them for their freedom? Do you know there was more Irish slaves than blacks? Nah, I doubt that. So it was no war. So then their slavery wasn't that bad then. They were immigrants, you know what I'm saying? There was no war for them, so then it wasn't that bad. They didn't really have slavery. We were the Moors and we were the Moors and Black Irish. So we were the Moors and the Black Irish. The Moors, they fought in Spain, you know what I'm saying? We know that, but all in all, we've always been Moors, you know what I'm saying? We Morenos, we always been Moors. We always are Moors. And once you understand that, then we would change our language from blacks and African Americans, and we call ourselves Moors. You know what I'm saying? Because we are the Moors. That's why Spanish people call us Morenos. That's the real history. But we don't want to call ourselves Moors anymore. It's sad that human life means so little simply because of origins. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It's quiet as kept. Quiet as kept. Damn, I wish my tablet was up because there is something I do want to play for you folks. Because according to this rabbi, he says something really unique about blacks. He says that black people serve the same God that they serve, that the rabbis serve. And he said that they serve Lucifer, and we came to this country with Lucifer. We came to this planet with Lucifer. The blacks came to this planet with Lucifer. So, I mean, there's a lot of deepness in or origins. So it's like the Irish didn't have slaves. In fact, they were slaves to the British. So are they found that? So are they foundational? What we consider them foundational Irish Americans? You know what I'm saying? Should they get some form of reparations? Should Italians get reparations as well? So the Irish didn't have slaves. In fact, they were slaves to the British. Our power is in the Lord, you know what I'm saying? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's my point. And that's what I'm saying. On these other people platforms, like I said, there's a lot of atheists on the platform I was just on. You know what I'm saying? With the platform I was on, there's a lot of atheists, a lot of people who believe that religion is pseudo and they don't believe in it. They believe in science. So you would get a lot of confusion on that side itself because they don't have nothing to believe in. And so they trying to figure out where they came from. They trying to come from out of underneath a rock. They trying to come from the mountain. They trying to come from the sky. They trying to come from the sea. They trying to come from somewhere, and they would spend 20 decades of figuring out where they came from, and yet and still we don't know where we're going because we can't even get on one accord. They want to separate from each other. They want to separate from each other and then separate from the government. Believing in God does not invalidate science and vice versa. But they, on that side, they, like I said, they're atheists, so they don't even believe in a God. So they just believe in science. That's all they believe in. So it's a lot of craziness on that side. So how long did we get the name like O'Neill and Riley and Kelly? I wish I had math. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you something, okay, folks? I'm going to be going live underneath from StreamYard off a different platform. Okay, so I'm going to I'm gonna figure out how I can get these subscribers to that platform because I'm gonna be doing StreamYards where you guys can come on the platform. So I'm going to post the link. I got figured out, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to really do it, but I'm going to be posting the link to that, you know, on whenever I'm going live on that person platform. Well, it's my platform, but underneath my other alias, because I could do it through StreamYard. So I'm going to be posting my StreamYard's live streams through another platform. So, you know what I'm saying? Just tap in on that one so you guys can be joining on the whole platform. Yeah, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Next time I'm going to figure out how to do it. Look how Denzel Washington is playing General Roman Emperor in the movie Gladiator. And he also got baptized by the Pope or some shit. Who we got baptized underneath, you know? Denzel Washington's a character and a half. So is it possible for blacks to separate in America without policing and protecting ourselves? Right now it's half and half. Well, if you guys was around when I was doing the live stream, when I was doing the videos I was doing, you know, catch it at the beginning, folks. Look at the beginning of this live stream because it was very important because there's no way in life that we can really separate from this country that I believe in without having some type of military ability. We have to be able to protect. If we're going to say we're going to separate, because if they decide that they want to come and infiltrate our shit, they can infiltrate it. And that's what I'm saying to you. I was saying earlier that we must put together legislation and we must really get this implemented through the policies that we have right now with the Trump administration. He's in office right now. They talk about reparations. I'm putting together the Greenwood Avenue cities in every city, a Greenwood Avenue city in every city, and that's our form of reparation. A Black Wall Street, for those who don't know, a Black Wall Street in every single city. Greenwood Avenue was about 40 acres of land. 10,000 people was on 40 acres of land. Okay, 10,000 folks was all part of this little 40 acres of land, and it consisted of Black Wall Street. So I'm saying that if we focus on getting honor to Greenwood, the destruction of Greenwood, and building Greenwood cities in every city, black 40-acre land with bank, with school, with hotel, with shopping center, supermarket, and some homes. We can build from there. Okay? A mini city, 40 acres of land, mini city dedicated to Greenwood, and it could be a tourist attraction. That's our reparations. Okay? From that little, we invest in there, from all around, just invest into that community, that Wall Street, and build it up, and then the expansion could take place. But what we just had on that other panel, I'm hoping that I can get back on it. They be on for like 11 hours. But from the other panel, they are going to go around and around and around and try and shoot at each other and argue each other down and don't come up with no solutions, but say we need to separate from each other. Pan-Africans are not FBAs, and FBAs are not ADOS, and Caribbeans can't be down, and you can't be down, and that can be down. I'm saying reparations should come from each region that it took place in. So the Caribbean islands reparations comes from the Caribbean islands. The African reparations for Africans come from Africa. The American reparations for Americans come from America. And once we can really just get that going, we don't have to be fighting amongst each other. But right now, the fight is because who's going to get this money? I just told you 50 cities, 50 states, Greenwood Avenue, Black Wall Street. And honestly, you could tell that you might be 100% right. You might be 100% right. Donna K, I wish I was married. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I was married for like 10 years. If I was married for like the last 10 years, life would be really great. I don't know about folks who like, oh, I don't know what you think. If I was married for like the last 10 years of my life would be awesome. Because there's nothing like man and woman being together in love and having that happiness. So I wish that was the case, Donna. Are you married, Donna? Norton, you married? Who's married on this platform? Who's married in the chat? Shout out to the married people. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the married folks. Thanks, Donna, for that. That makes me really feel good for 2025. But who's married? Is marriage the thing that we do now? I mean, I'm kind of scared. Do people get married nowadays? Like, are they still getting married? I mean, I haven't seen a wedding at a church in so long. No, and we got to pay what? You said, and we going to have to pay that. What was you talking about? I'm sorry, I didn't catch you. No doubt, Donna. Yep. So married, yes, no doubt. And how long you been married for? So let me stand up. How about that? I'm not gonna fall off the chair. I'm gonna stand up. All right, watch this. I'm gonna stand up. So go ahead, tell me. Go ahead, Don. I'm standing up. How long you been married for? Some people married for benefits. It's longer than my life. That's longer than my life, man. Dang, that's amazing. Thank you for tapping in, Donna K. Thank you for tapping in. I appreciate that. Knowing you're not married, 52 freaking years, yo. That's dope. Amazing. Happy. Shit. That's amazing. Equates to 45,000 a family. The national debt. What you talking about? Reparations? You just throwing numbers out there, Norton. What the hell are you talking about? October 21st, 1970, mother freaking 2. My Lord. I was born a couple years after that. Wow. Donna freaking K is not no little young fish, real folks. She's been married longer than I've been alive. So she's somewhat of a historian, especially if she's studying. What did you do? You was a historian? You was a school teacher? No, you're not old. You just you got a wrench. You are. I'm not going to use the word old, but you are foundated. So you consider yourself a foundational Black American? Are you Pan-Africanist, or you foundational Black American, or you a descendant of African? You know what? I think Pan-Africans were pander more so towards ADOS, African descendants of slavery, you know what I'm saying? But then they'd be fighting. Well, not everybody was here. Everybody's not from slavery. You know, they'd be fighting about everything. No, we owe China 17 trillion, and that equates to $45,000 to $50,000 a person. What we owe China? What we owe China trillions of dollars for? What do we owe China $17 trillion for? Not you and me, the American government. And then, but you saying we gonna have to pay for that shit? Were you asking me? No, I was. I think I asked you. What? Yeah, I said, are you? Do you consider yourself Pan-African or ADOS? Do you consider yourself FBA, Pan-African, or ADOS? That's what I think I was asking. We owe because of loans we took out in World War I. Umar Johnson owes me, and I still didn't get my bread, yo. I'm trying to get my money from Umar. We talk about World War I. Or Donna K, I kind of thought of that because you know why I thought that? When you start talking about the Italian and the Italians. That's what made me think that, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Donna K. And Norton, I'm Native American. My platform, for some reason, has a lot of people from different backgrounds. It's so weird because, you know what I'm saying, I'm always screaming Black Man Rise, Original Rebel, but yet and still I have a lot of different folks. I have people from Peru, I had Cuba, I had a lot of folks, and they still on deck, you know what I'm saying? So salute to everyone that tapped into my platform and be sticking with me. And as you see, I don't discriminate against folks. I show love according to how you show love to me. You know what I'm saying? You participate with my channel. You have conversation with me. You communicate with me. You don't have to completely agree with me. But as long as we can communicate, we can have conversation and keep the live stream going so the channel is entertaining to the folks. That's what makes me show love and give a wrench. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just giving a wrench also so I can see who the normal people here. So Donna's one of the normal people. Tyra used to be a normal person. My man Goldie Mac So I don't know none of these folks. I don't know which color you are. I don't know what background you were from. I don't know what religion, but I just know who levitates to me and who I levitate to and show love. So that's what it's all about. That's how we growing. When I grew up, we all got along in our neighborhood. And that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And I get along with everyone, but yet still I believe that in my lane, as you see me, I'm black. In my personal lane, I truly believe that we got to get organized. It's so imperative. It's so important for us to get organized in this black lane, because if we don't get ourselves organized, we are definitely heading for destruction. Not only amongst ourselves, but others might as well just take advantage of destroying us too. Because if we're not an asset in life, then there's no need to have us around. And so I just want my lane to get and become more of an asset. So they talk about collective reparations, and I'm saying that this whole fight is all about money, and these guys can't even get organized because they fighting about origin and where they from and what to claim, and there's just so much confusion. I'm from the hippie generation, I bet. I bet. What was that like? Could you explain that experience for a second? What was the hippie generation about? You know what I'm saying? It's about just getting along with everybody, right? Smoking, getting high. When I grew up, we all got along, you know what I'm saying? The explorers mentioned that the original people were copper-colored individuals. Let me see something. I'm gonna put a penny on my forehead. Let me see something. It's a copper penny. Hold on, let me put this down. Hold on, I'm gonna do something stupid. I'm gonna do something stupid. Let me see. I'm having fun though. Let's see if it sticks. Did that blend in or that shine? Is it too shiny? Did that blend in? Did that blend in? Did that penny blend in? But yo, that's a newer one. So let me get one of these dull ones. Hold on. Putting spit on my forehead. Let me put a little water. Okay, let me put one of these old ones, okay? That penny was thinking, yo, spit is no joke. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Am I copper? I'm a copperhead. You know what I'm saying? That should look green. Well, are you ever going to do what I just did right here? I don't think y'all never going to see this right here. You know what I'm saying? On my channel, you see some cool, weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Spit is how your mama cleans everything off your face, especially your eye. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, mom, stop. That's not copper. That penny is nickel with tints. Yo, okay, so you know what I'm saying? You're never gonna see this right here. Yo, that spit is powerful. My spit is really strong. What the hell? So yeah. I want to see if that penny gonna fall off my head. So we're gonna leave it right there. I'm the copperhead. I wish we could get back 9:22. I definitely gotta get to the store. 19. Let's see if I can tap back in. I had Rusty from. He's from. I forgot where he's from, but he was blonde hair, blue eyes, Indian and black ancestry. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, my platform be having folks, and it's just cool to be able to entertain you folks and still be able to build, you know what I'm saying, on the topic. And so my topics be strong topics, and I don't know how everybody be tapping in, but shout out to every single one. Thanks for those new subscriptions. And like I say, I'm going to be underneath another live StreamYard. So with this StreamYard, I'm going to post whenever I'm ready to go live on that one. I'm just going to post it. I'm going to post the StreamYard code, and you guys can go to it. But it's underneath this guy. His name is James. Okay, so just check him out, folks. I need you guys to tap in when I go live, when I do my StreamYards for him. When this come back on, I'm gonna see if I can go StreamYard. The 60 kids did not have technology. We knew how to socialize. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? We definitely knew how to socialize. I'm not from the 60s, but I'm from the 70s, 80s. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't have technology. We barely had TV. You know what I'm saying? And our TV went to sleep at a certain time. You know what I'm saying? That was so cool when the TV went to sleep, right? And the best music. And we used to, once the TV went out, we had the radio on, so we sleeping and we just listened to the radio all night. You know what I'm saying? But yet and still, that TV went out. Yo, my spit is kind of potent, yo. I think I can put like wallpaper up with using spit. With the Star Spangled Banner, exactly. You know what I'm saying? The Star Spangled Banner. These people don't know the good times. I really think that they need to bring back TV to shut off. I think that once a week, we need the president to come in and implement that. Once a week, the TV shuts off at 12 o'clock at night. Once a week. Okay, I think that should be implemented again because I think this generation needs to see and feel what that is like. It's good on the mindset. It will help them break away from television. It will help them, you know what I'm saying, really realize that everything's not about the remote control and sitting there and binge watching TV. And it will help with a lot of electric bills, you know what I'm saying, electricity bills. I really think that once a week on one day, I don't know what day of the week, but once a week, the television should shut off and play the Star Spangled Banner again. That would be so cool. That would be so cool. Wouldn't you love to see that once again in your lifetime? Or you just don't mind the TV just on when you're not even in the room and the shit done watch like 4 different programs and you're not even watching the shit? And the antennas, you know what I'm saying? The kids used to be the antennas as well. Isn't that correct? Wasn't the kids? I used to be the antenna. I knew that much. Oh man. Sometimes I used to like being an antenna, but then there was a lot of times I didn't like being an antenna because look at that shit staying on my freaking head. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like to be the antenna because the fact that, you know what I'm saying, sometimes it was kind of hard to get that reception, or you can't really see the TV, or it might be too cold in the house. You know what I'm saying? You want to get back on underneath the covers. So it was a lot of things that went to being the antenna for the TV with the bad reception. You know what I'm saying? Life was cool though. Life was so fun. Life was very fun. But for some reason now, life has become so separative, and then something boring. It's just hateful and mean and wicked. We have to figure out a part of life where we're going to have love again. We're going to have to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Something that we're going to love our life. But right now, I wish my grands could experience that childhood. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think that once a week, even if it's just once a month, but once a week, we need that experience back. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think it would be nothing wrong. To be honest, I don't even think many old school folks would believe that that's a problem. I think a lot of old school folks would think that would be so cool for the TVs to, shut down, not even turn on. Well, if the only way you can watch TV is if you're watching like from your like a DVD player. You know what I'm saying? You have to have some other TV, but just regular TV programs won't come on. But the TV could come on, but that means you have to watch a movie from the DVD program, DVD player. That would be cool. That would be awesome. For you folks who sitting here like, yo, why this dude got 2 pennies on his head? Because I'm trying to see if I think this one's not. It is kind of close, even though shiny. This one's green, but I don't know that according to that Bible, you know what I'm saying, even the black men, you know, the dark skinned men, they not copper. I'm sorry. They not copper. Yo, this shit is like glue. I'm done laughing. Look, my foot. It's not falling off. I got my hat on. Spit. There's no telling what amazing features spit really can have. You know what I'm saying? Better than Elmer's. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what in the world saliva consists of, but they said Jesus was able to heal a person's eyes with his saliva. You know what I'm saying? And Quiet's Cup is nothing like doing like this and clean your eyeballs. You know what I'm saying? With that saliva. But like I say, folks, you know, a lot of people can learn just from the little things of life and learn from a lot of us older folks. And saliva must be clean. You know what I'm saying? You must clean your mouth so your saliva can heal you. Saliva is important. I mean, I'm just way off the topic, but you know, saliva is important. But going back to what I was saying, reparations should be in the form of honoring Greenwood Avenue, and they'll build tourist cities using that as the model. Now you can get back your you can get back your reparations money that you gave by just making these cities tourist attractions, but not a tourist attraction where the government controls it. It's a tourist attraction where the people that live there controls it. You know what I'm saying? And they give back to the state in various ways. Okay? Like I say, folks, everything don't have to be so hateful. Everything don't have to be so confusing. Everything don't have to be so bitter and wicked. We can make things become more appetizing just if we use our mind and think a little bit better. I wonder if this copper on the forehead is doing some type of healing. You know what I'm saying? Even though you say it's nickel. Don't ever underestimate the wisdom of those who have lived more decades than you. Exactly. And that's why, you know what I'm saying, we shouting out Donna K. And thank you for tapping in with your 52 years of being married, not living, but 52 years of being married. Okay, folks, that's big time. 52 years of being married, this woman right here. 52 years of her being married. So we shouting out Donna K. Shout out to all the people that's in the chat. But as for me, folks, it's 9:31. I got dipped to the store because I got to get me something to drink. It's what I got left. So I want to get me some water. I got to get me a bottle of water. And I want to catch the store before it closes. Today is Sunday. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it closes at 10. So my next live stream is going to be from StreamYard. Let me just make sure. Let me make sure that I can do it first. Let me see. And if I can, I'm excited. All right, so let me see if I can go and use StreamYard. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, damn. I don't think I will be able to. Not from this one because, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I hope so. I hope so. Damn. Well, Yeah. I don't know. Because I'm actually using, it was someone else's account and I don't know their information. So I was trying to use someone else's account and get into it. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure it out. And if I can figure it out, then I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna figure it out. Maybe I'm just gonna set up a whole nother StreamYard account. Cause they suspended me. I don't know. I'm hurt because they suspended me from StreamYard. But if I can get into the StreamYard with this other site, with this other account, then we good money. But otherwise, I gotta figure this out. But it's for me right now, folks. I did 3 hours and 26 minutes. I need you guys to check the beginning of it because I was giving a little history of 10 towns and 10 situations that, you know, you had black folks who tried to, you know, build their own little thing and they got destroyed. Whether they got destroyed through violence or they got destroyed through policies. You know what I'm saying? We had 10 different areas. And New York, Central Park. You know, you speak about the Irish in Central Park. You had the black. It was called Seneca, and you had some lots that was bought. It was like 40 different lots. Oh no, 21 different lots was bought by Andrew Williams, and they formed these freedom towns. And then you had the Irish folks come in. Then the next thing you know, it was confrontation, and they shut it down. That became Central Park. Okay, Central Park was actually where black people lived. It was just that whole area. Then the Irish people came in. So Harlem, you know, saying you had Harlem, and Harlem just got 100% gentrified now, and where now Harlem don't look like Harlem anymore. You know, you had the Black Wall Street. You had Little Africa. They called Tulsa Little Africa. Okay, there was a lot of battles. There's a lot of things. You had an area in Philadelphia that got bombed. You had Rosewood. You had the Chocolate City, Washington D.C. No representation without what they say. No taxation without representation. Washington D.C. You had Wilmington, North Carolina. You had a lot of places. You had Santa Monica in California, Allensworth, California. You had a lot of areas that you have people separate. And I say, is it possible for black people to keep saying that we're going to separate from this government, separate from the system, and not have our own protection, have our own EBTs, have our own situation where we could, feed each other? I don't know. So these panels that be talking all that talk, I think they need to really reevaluate their discussion and their thought patterns. But as for me, folks, thank y'all for your listening here. You know, I really salute you for tapping in. You are correct. When I grew up, we all got along. Let me just end this real quick. I'm from, where you from? The hippie generation. Okay. They need to bring back manual remote controls. Okay, I need to see the last of the comments. Then I'm going to say thank y'all so much. Don't ever underestimate. Yep. Be safe. Thank you so much. No problem. South Philly's a little itty. Yeah. I mean, I'll be out there. Got some good pizza over there too. Some good pizza over there. We're over there by Broad and Passayunk. Good pizza. And Yolanda tapped back in. What up, Yolanda? What you say? We need to figure out how to, damn it. I don't know what you was talking about, Yolanda. What was you talking about? We need to figure out how to what? How to what? Thanks, Donna. You too. Be safe out there, Donna. Tell your husband I said, what up? Don't ever underestimate the wisdom of those who have lived more than decades than you. Yes, I agree. South Philly is definitely, so you from Philly too? We need to figure out how to, what was you talking about, Yolanda? Because I didn't see that part right there. All right, Yolanda, I'm sorry. I didn't see you tap in. Thanks for tapping in, Yolanda. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. How to get our own as blacks. We're going to get it with the respect unity, love, and empowerment through education and economics. That's how we're going to do it, okay? And how we're going to get our own, I don't know if you tapped in late, but this is how we can get it. Like when it comes to reparations. If we was to stop fighting the greens and know how to grow the green and go with the green, we will be able to utilize history, not just for the bad part of it, but we'll be able to utilize history to make it better, our future better. So with the destruction that took place of these 10 towns, that black-owned little towns, it's important for us to focus on how we can benefit from that destruction of hate and destruction of wickedness and evil. And that's not the future. That's not the way, the direction we're going. We're not going backwards. We're moving forward. So we must give honor to those people who lost their lives, such as Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I believe that we need to make Greenwood Avenue and Greenwood Avenue land, you know what I'm saying? Greenwood Avenue city in every city in this country. And that's the way reparations could be allocated. And that's the way we can build, so we can start building our infrastructure. Okay. Manayunk. No, Passyunk. Is it Passyunk? Yeah, Passyunk and Broad. What's man? I don't know. I'm not really from Philly. I'm from New York. So I'm just learning the area, but Manayunk, excuse me, where's Manayunk? That's real. Come together. What you say, Yolanda? Yolanda want to pop up when I'm about to sign off. What the heck is wrong with you, girl? That's real. Come together as one. Let's stop hating one and stop hating one another. It's a section of Philly, no doubt. Okay, Donna. I gotta check that out. 15 miles from Center City. Okay. I gotta check that out. It's 15 miles away from Center City. All right. We got some Philly people in the house. So you like that idea, Yolanda? You like the Greenwood Avenue, Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Greenwood Avenue in every state? Let me Google that real quick before I disappear. I gotta go get me this drink before I shut it down. Greenwood Avenue. Where are the Greenwood Avenues? What cities are Greenwood Avenue? There are multiple matches for Greenwood Avenues, including Trenton, New Jersey, Jenkintown, Pennsylvania, Collegeville, Pennsylvania, Upper Chichester, Pennsylvania. So all throughout Pennsylvania, there's a lot of Greenwood towns. Ambler, Pennsylvania, and Camden, New Jersey. Okay. Trenton, New Jersey. Greenwood Ave is a neighborhood in Trenton, New Jersey, that's part of the district that shows the city's suburbanization in the early 19th century. The area has a variety of housing types, including Italianate, Greek, and Revival. See, now that's the wrong Greenwood. See, you said Italianate, Greek, and Revival, and Queen Anne. Sorry, folks. The area has a variety of housing types, including Italianate, Greek, Revival, and Queen Anne. Jenkintown, Pennsylvania, 520 Greenwood Avenue is a 1,918 square foot single family home in Jenkintown, Pennsylvania. Collegeville, Pennsylvania, 54 Greenwood Ave. All right, so we have Greenwood Aves, but we need a Greenwood Ave city. How about that? Greenwood Ave cities, in honor of those who lost their lives in Greenwood. That should be a push, yo. I mean, I come up with a lot of legislation, a lot of things that we can focus on, but I think that would be a good way for reparations to come in. Okay? Manny Young. I've got to check that out. Yeah, that's Greenwood Ave was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, Greenwood Ave was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, so that's what I was talking about earlier. Greenwood Ave was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and that's the street that the Black Wall Street was on, Greenwood Avenue. Okay, Greenwood Avenue was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where Black Wall Street took place. And these pennies are still stuck in my forehead. That's crazy. All right, folks. So we did a little history. We tried to get in on the debate. We asked these guys some questions, but they didn't really have no answers. They just wanted smoke. They just wanted to fight back and forth with FBAs and Pan-Africans because that's how they get their views. But shout out to you guys. Yesterday was a great live stream. It was an awesome live stream. I don't know how this happened, but we got 8,300 some views off their live stream. That was really dope. There wasn't that many people that tapped into this one, but whatever we get is what we get. I'm just happy just to have good conversation with people. You know what I'm saying? So peace and blessings, sir. Go get your water. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely about to do that. And the poll, real quick with the poll, is it possible for is it possible for blacks to separate in America without policing and protecting ourselves? 29% say yes, 71% say no. And we had about 7 people vote. So that's what's up. Thank y'all. Donna K, have a great night too. Love your, no doubt. Love your platform. I appreciate you, baby. That for real. Salute to everybody. I'm about to sign off. I was going to walk to the store with you folks. I would do that. Let me see how much power I got on my phone. 9%. Nah, it's going to shut off. So thank y'all for your listening ear. Still there. I'm going to walk to the store with that shit on my forehead. And I'll see you next time, okay? Peace. I really enjoyed this conversation. You have a great night too. Norton. Peace out, Norton. Norton. You know, peace out to Norton too. You know, peace out to everybody on the tapping. Yeah, have a good night.